By the way, we're rolling.
Expansion.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually super excited for the show, man. The lion from Homebush in the building, Nick Carr.
My brother.
Good to have you, man.
Pleasure's mine.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Gracias, hermano.
I'm going to do a small little intro to try and do justice to this man, because I'm actually really excited. And I remember talking to Paulie and even some of the guys around us. I said, man, when we do this show, I've got to get Nick on. And we have in the studio today the lion from Homebush. That lion, that psychedelic lion that we got back there, when I saw that, I said, man, that's Nick. The lion from Homebush, one time the number one general manager of the number one Honda dealer in the country, went off and started his own thing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. Huge family man, huge brother, has helped out so many, has been given awards by all these different awards, has achieved so much, has donated so much, and I would definitely say generosity, love and support for his communities running through his veins, through church and through his work, and through the family, through his friends, and his huge network of people that he has around him. And I'm so proud and so happy to have you on the show, my brother. It's an absolute pleasure. And I love the fact that I can do this show to bring people on like you, man, because you, my friend, are changing the world.
Gracias, man.
Welcome, Nick.
Gracias. Honor to be here, brother.
Thank you, man.
Honor
God bless.
to be here.
Thank you. And your beautiful wife too, Helen. You guys can't see her, but she's behind the cameras. It's the first time we actually have someone's plus one, except that Paulie with Charlie. Paulie always brings his plus one Charlie.
Charlie's a thing now, right?
Okay.
Sort of.
Anyway, you can take a photo with Charlie later. It's
100%.
one of those embarrassing things you got to do with the show, man, unfortunately. But welcome to your beautiful wife. Welcome to the show one more time. So, let's get into it. You feeling good?
Feeling good, brother.
All right. Now, if we had to tell all the interesting stories,
too many,
right? We would be here until 5 o'clock in the morning next week.
100%.
Because you've lived a full life.
Good and bad.
Yeah, good and bad, of course,
and
man.
bad.
That's life, my brother. Yeah. But normally what I like to do is to introduce, introduce the person, and usually we start with like where you come from, what your childhood was like, so we can kind of ease our way into it. So you're Greek Australian, right?
That's right. Born here.
Born here.
Bankstown Hospital.
Bankstown Hospital. Okay, cool. And what area would you say? I know people in Sydney move around a lot, but if there was one area that is yours, what area would that be?
Bankstown, Yaguna.
Okay, sorry to hear.
That precinct, yeah. I'm sorry.
Shout out to everybody in Bankstown.
It's out, yeah. It's out.
Yeah, the area. No, the area's cool, man. I'm from Fairfield too, so I can't speak. The mighty Southwest, man, breeds some tough bastards. You know what I'm saying? So. No tougher than you, my friend. Okay, cool. So, Greek Australian, big family, small family?
Big family.
Big family.
Immediate family small, one sister, but mum had 7 brothers and sisters.
Wow, okay, lots of
Dad
cousins.
had 7 brothers and sisters.
Ooh, wow.
So the cousins are still rolling in, yeah?
And everyone's based in Australia?
Pretty much.
Okay,
Pretty
cool.
much. Dad's side, 50% over there.
Okay.
They come from an island called Rhodes.
Wow, Rhodes, yeah, of course.
Rhodes, yeah. But
was it the Colossal from Rhodes or something?
Colossus of Rhodes.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the wonders of the world.
That's right. Ancient wonders of the world, yeah?
Yep.
Rafa knows his history.
100%.
I've seen images of it, yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. And, okay, cool. So primary school, high school, what was that like? Where and how was that for you?
Bankstown Public School. My sister was in Bankstown Girls. So with a 5-year gap, most of the primary school years were, being neglected from being picked up after school. She was forever forgetting about her little brother.
Wow.
But no, Bankstown Public School. Mum and Dad had a business not far from there. Clements Avenue, Bankstown.
Okay.
So it was school, and then going to parents' work. They were in the rag trade.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So making clothes.
Yep. There was still a rag trade back then.
Back then, 80s, yeah? So mum and dad would have been in his early 30s, running a pretty big, successful operation.
Yeah.
And then obviously late 80s, with whatever was going on in the economics of Australia at the time.
The recession we had to have, no?
The recession we had to have.
Yep. Paul Keating.
poor Keating.
Yeah.
Then the influx of foreign workers, etc. And then that didn't go too well for the parents, and Dad pretty much had to give it all up in 1990, where we then moved to Yaguna. Dad started again.
Yeah.
And that was the next chapter of our lives.
Sure. So high school was where?
Birrong Boys, which was literally a kilometre from where we lived.
Okay.
So it was the choice of getting up in the morning and walking to school, or walking 300 metres in the other direction and catching the train to the next stop. However we felt in the morning.
Man, different times, different world, right?
Different times.
And I'm not very familiar with Birrong Boys or the area in general, especially at that time. Was it rough? What was the cultural mix? What was that like?
Look, Birrong Boys was, in hindsight, it was rough.
Yeah.
At the time, not so.
Yeah.
For me, after everything that Dad had gone through, so the transition of a wealthy business operator and the freedom of being able to buy and do whatever he wanted, to pretty much starting again. So Dad went back to his original trade coming to Australia, which was painting.
Okay.
Hands down, one of the hardest working men I know.
Wow.
Hence, where those traits were passed on and
in the DNA,
adapted in the DNA.
Yeah.
So for me, high school was like a second chance for the family. So I gave it a good crack.
Yeah.
Studied my ass off. Year 7 to 11 was ducks of year 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11.
Wow.
And then the year 12 and HSC went to shit.
I can relate.
So
very similar to me, man, actually. Yeah.
Multiple factors.
Of course.
Burnout being one. It's probably my first experience with adrenal burnout.
Wow.
So I lost the drive
at that age.
Lost the drive. Didn't know what it was. Met my beloved at that time, so and being a bookworm, didn't have as much, wasn't as receptive as being cool. I became the school captain.
Peer pressure stuff.
Became the school captain year 12. I became cool. So for me, it was the balance of being cool and studying. Being cool was more important. So Mr. Popular in year 12, your girlfriend in year 12, discovered nightclubs in year 12. Hence the result of my HSC in year 12.
Yeah, man. But it's funny, man. Very, very similar parallel to myself, except it wasn't it was co-ed, I think you call it.
Co-ed. So I was
didn't
a boys'
go
school.
to. So it was Birrong. Was it like a Christian thing or?
Nah, Birrong was just your standout public school. Public, yeah.
Public, but
standout public school.
But boys.
Boys only.
Okay, and I didn't even know that existed.
Birrong girls was like 300 meters further up.
Okay, cool.
And come year 11 and 12. The boys spent more time at Birrong girls than what they did in their own premises.
So Helen, your woman, she was from there, or?
Nah, Helen was a couple of years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
I met Helen when she was 13, turning 14.
Wow.
I was 16. She went to a Greek Orthodox private school.
Ah, wow.
And
okay, cool.
That's another story,
yeah?
So that...
a little bit more on the family later. We've got some photos and stuff to 100%. Talk about. We like doing that. We'll show some photos and we'll get people to... to react or to have a laugh with or to explain 100%. What's going on. But, okay, cool. So during high school, you're already working, like after school, you're helping with the family business and all that, yeah?
Nah, so basically I finished year 12. As I said, back then it was the TER, and off memory I think I got 65 TER.
Like passed basically,
so just got through to a Bachelor of Arts at UWS, MacArthur.
Okay.
That was in 97 I finished.
Wow, great times.
Fantastic times.
Yeah.
June of 98, I had a major car accident. I flew out of a car window. Passenger. My mate was driving. Old Windsor Road, going towards Castle Hill, similar to where we are now. Up this way. Yeah. And a Jeep Cherokee runs a red light, hits us on the side. We hit a pole, and then hit a tree. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Flew out of the passenger window, saved my life. And then from there it was like 6 months rehabilitation, 12 months mental recovery.
Broken bones?
Snapped the humerus pretty much clean snap.
Not so humorous,
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't so humorous, mate, at the time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Damaged the radial nerve. Couldn't use my right arm for at least a year.
Damn.
and
So you had to use the left, huh?
Had to use the left. Had to use the left.
Oh, well.
So
Ambidextrous.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
No choice.
Uh-huh.
No choice.
And then, I mean, you know, something that defines a lot of your adult life is the car industry. You know, you've done a lot in that field, and no doubt we're going to talk a lot about that on tonight's show. So is that the time that
Pretty much was my first taste. So while I was in uni, obviously, you know, being young, having that, you know, that taste of the nightlife and that, had to get paid somehow. So
Of course.
I was forever working as a waiter, cafes, Greek nightclubs, restaurants, just balancing shifts, getting work wherever I could, to feed, you know, that desire to have a good life.
Of course.
From an early age. Obviously the car accident threw things out of whack.
Yeah.
And I found myself, I got a job in a place called Auto Trader, which was a telemarketing company that used to ring trading post clients, because back then you only had the trading post. There was
That's
no
right.
car sales. There was none of that.
No internet, basically, yeah.
So you rang people from the trading post, and you basically called them up and said, listen, we'll come out, we'll take photos of your car, and we'll do this beautiful little ad with photos, and you got a better chance of selling your car. So that was my first taste in the car industry.
Probably
And
a good point to start, man,
Mate, it
because
was.
you're on the marketing,
It was.
sales,
It
you
was.
know, yeah,
It
the
was.
right side, so to speak.
It was.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then, so that's coming out of high school, and then when do you actually, you know, go into like the showroom or the actual car yard?
I
so
had
to
a
speak?
stint selling mobile phones for Optus.
Uh-huh.
That was fun. I
Yeah.
did that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Um,
That was the new thing.
that was a new thing, you know. I was the first one to have a 5110, you know,
Wow.
playing Snake.
Hey, that's right. Yeah,
That was me.
Nokia's.
I had the latest phone.
Yeah.
And then from there, pretty much lost that job. Optus, I worked for a company called C21 Communications.
Yeah.
Had the whole family working there, from Helen, my wife, to her sister.
Already, huh?
Yeah,
At that
mate,
young age, you already had the family.
The networking started back then.
Yeah.
So, you know, we had one of each of us in each branch.
Yeah.
You know. And then Optus bought them out, which C21 was a private company owned by a guy called Roy Metaxas. He was one of the pioneers. Started with Motorola and NEC. And from there, Optus bought them out.
Yeah.
I was left without a job. I had a souped up 206 at the time, which I was able to purchase after getting a nice little compo claim.
Yeah, from the accident.
From the accident.
Yeah.
Number plates were compo.
Wow.
So
Proud.
Back then I was known as Nick Compo,
Wow. Okay.
which
Cool.
later changed to Nick Honda.
Yeah, of course. Yep. When I met you, you were Nick Honda.
It was Nick
that's
Honda.
how. That's
yeah,
how.
so Nick
that's
Honda
how-
used to be Nick Compo.
I'm glad you got rid of that, man.
Yeah. Might come back, man, with the field that we're in now, but that's another story again.
Nah, you don't need that, man.
No, definitely.
The lion
not.
from Homebush sounds
Yeah,
better, man.
I like that one too, though. Especially with the pick we got to the right. Yeah?
No doubt, man.
All
Feel
the
the power.
colours.
Yeah, feel the power. So, I remember you telling me roughly the story. There was a Uruguayan involved or something. Was that a little bit later?
Yeah,
in the-
no. So basically, lost the job at Optus. Was pretty much told, mate, you know,
Yeah.
we're going this way, you're stuck this way.
Yeah.
You're not really gelling with the future of this business. So, so what do you want me to do? Hand in your resignation. Did. Left there, rang a mate of mine who had a similar car to what I was driving. He was he worked for Parramatta Nissan, selling cars.
Yeah.
Said, you know what, selling phones, selling cars, what's the difference?
Same.
Same. Rang him up. He didn't have anything, but his dad was a used car manager at a company called La Hoskins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So rang him up.
Yeah.
He goes, come now. He was a Maltese gentleman
Okay.
and just a character and a half.
Wow.
Rang him up, went and saw him that afternoon. They lined me up with an interview with the general manager the next day. His name was Jeff. Got interviewed. Mate, the guy just had the aura, you know, came out with sunglasses, suited up.
A lot of characters in the car industry, right?
Beautiful
Yeah,
characters.
Yeah.
Beautiful characters.
Yeah.
And I was blessed to be in the industry at that time when those characters flourished.
Yeah.
met them all.
Yeah.
So I got offered the job, started the next day, told
Yeah.
me, you know, you're selling cars, great, rocked up, next day, briefcase, nothing in it but my lunch, my leather jacket,
Yeah.
shirt, tie, rocked up, I'm here to sell cars, and mate, straight out,
So that was the beginning.
that was the beginning.
So Lark Hoskins, you were there up until, say, Sutton's took over. It was
Yeah.
how long?
So the takeover from Suttons was December 16, and I was there till April 18 after that. So I was from February 2002 all the way to December 16, which was the end of Lark Hoskins.
Wow. Okay,
So,
cool. All right, so if my maths are right, that's about 14 years.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you started at the bottom and you ended up at the top,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty
And-
fast.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It was
And-
a quick transition.
yeah, because obviously the GM, you know, in the end, the GM, and many would say a lot of the success that that company had was due to not only you directly, but also the culture that you instilled and all of that big heart thing that we've already mentioned. How quickly did you get like into, say, management, or what was that ride like along the way?
It was a rapid rise, man.
Yeah.
I just remembered, like, this is it. I got the gig, and I'm gonna have a crack.
Yeah.
And just, you know, you mentioned the Uruguayan fella. His name was John Dennis,
Uh-huh.
and mate, don't know where he is now.
Yeah. but
we got to find him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you said that.
We'll set that up.
John
as a-
Dennis.
John Dennis. Where
¿Dónde
you
estás?
at?
¿Dónde estás? Venía a ver a tu hermano acá, te está buscando hace rato. People in the Uruguayan community.
Mate,
Right,
John Robert Dennis, that was
Okay,
his
cool.
name, and
Yeah.
went under his wing immediately, and
Yeah.
and for all the right and all the wrong reasons too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? But one thing he taught me, one thing he gave me confidence, and I'll never forget that. Being 22, you know, you think you're invincible, and mate, he just pumped that ego, and just made me feel it was possible to work hard and achieve.
Yeah.
And I did. Became the used car manager for Homebush. Actually became the used car manager at Rosebery pretty much 6 months after getting the gig.
Wow.
You know, the gentleman that gave me the crack, the used car manager, was my mate's dad. Lost his job for not good reasons,
Okay.
which was common in the motor industry.
Yes,
you
I
know?
can imagine. I wanted to actually say that because the car industry not attracts, but it definitely breeds, I think, by its nature, a lot of, you know, abuse and stress and like coffee and cigarettes and
Alcohol,
everything else,
gambling.
alcohol, gambling. It's
Which
very,
leads
yeah,
to-
yeah. And also, you know, it ruins your weekends as well because it's,
There's no weekends.
there is no
In the
weekend.
car industry, there's no weekends.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, game day Saturday,
Yeah.
and back up Sunday. You know,
That's right,
We
yeah.
call it, you know, first half Saturday, second half Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Whatever you don't do on the Saturday, you back up on the
Yeah.
Sunday. And you,
And obviously very sales driven, so there's a big pressure to perform and be there and, you know, and go hard.
you're only
basically,
as
yeah.
good as your last month.
Exactly.
And then it came to the point where you're only as good as your last weekend.
Yeah. Quite cutthroat too, right?
Very cutthroat.
Yeah, because
Very cutthroat.
there's not much difference between buying a car over there than it is buying it over here. So it's all about what the sales people do and yeah. Okay.
You
cool.
got to be a point of difference. And like, we were blessed. We created a culture.
Yeah.
And that culture gave us the point of difference to the competition. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it was people wanted to buy from you.
Yeah.
They wanted that experience.
Yeah.
They wanted that feeling.
Yeah.
They wanted to feel that energy.
Yeah, that's right.
And we thrived on that.
Of course.
On that.
Yeah. Yeah. That personal touch, that experience too.
100%.
Yeah. Which is kind of what I was trying to say. In other words, is that, you know, you can essentially buy the same car in two different places. What makes you go to that one place?
What choose you?
Yeah, that's right. It's what you guys bring to the table through your, you know, your skills and all of that you put on the table. So, at what point was success really palpable and you felt like you were on top of your game and the accolades started coming in and the recognition and the figures and all of that? Because I got a taste of that when I first met you a few years back. You know, you guys were at the top. You were like number one by hundreds of cars. You know, at what point did you say, wow, you know, this is fucking awesome?
I think the early taste was in 2006. We actually knocked off Rick the Million. So I went to Homebush in 2004. and then replaced the general manager that was there for 20 years prior in 2005, and that was again, due to bad habits and exposing him for what he was. Not a good mentor, not a good boss.
Yeah.
So like the car industry was forever a battle of trying to prove that you were more integral and the better operator to lead that ship into the future. So you were having these battles constantly.
Yeah.
So about 2005, I got reins to the entire operation. Mate, that wasn't easy. I actually fell into depression as a result. Again, the burnout hit me.
I can only imagine.
I was out of work for 6 weeks. Did not get out of bed for 6 weeks.
Wow.
And my first real taste of depression and what depression was all about. And that sat with me for probably 5 to 7 years after that, until it actually physically went away. So that was a battle that I was dealing with. But in answer to your question, when did the success start to hit? It was late 2006. We knocked off Rick the Million and got the New South Wales title. So we were the number one dealer for Honda for New South Wales in 2006. And then 2009 is when we hit the benchmark and knocked off a dealer in Perth, Burswood Honda. And they compared that to like Rocky and Drago in Rocky 4. It was, the state-of-the-art dealership, the workshop with 27 bays compared to the little shack in Homebush.
Yeah, because Homebush is not very pretty, man.
4 desks.
Yeah, that's right.
3 hoists.
All heart.
And 1 wash bay.
Yeah.
And it was all heart.
No doubt.
Credit to the team that we had built at the time. So we became number 1 in 2009, and it was just bang.
Massive achievement. All right, and how long were you guys at the top for?
So we were at the top
all
the way to the end. All the way to the end. 2016, we finished on top. Tony Azzi sold the business to Suttons. So Lark Hoskins Suttons acquired Lark Hoskins. 2017 on top again. 2018 on top again. It wasn't until the debacle that led to my exit in 2019, and then they lost the title.
Which I think is a testament to how much you were putting into the business.
It was,
Might have been a timing issue as well. Who knows? That's one of those things that we'll never know, and we don't care about anyway.
We don't care.
But so Rick the Million, I mean, I want to just bring him up because when I was growing up as a young hustler, up to no good, late 90s, early 2000s, Gangsters Paradise in Sydney, prior to September 11 and everything kind of real tightening up and whatever. The Million was like...
The Million was the point.
The Million, and obviously everyone remembers that the Raris and everything on Parramatta Road and driving past there, and it was like Rick the Million, you know? So he had that wow factor. So to take out the Million was like...
It was massive. For us, it was the be-all and end-all, people would come and I'd make it clear to the staff, anyone mentions Rick the Million, they got to speak to me. And it was war. But mate, we learned so much from that operation. Like, little things like you wouldn't see a Rick the Million car with black and yellow number plates. Every single Rick the Million car that went through his operation, didn't matter what brand, had to have black and white plates. So mate, we'd sit there, we'd study what they were doing, and we'd learn from him.
Of course.
But he was... Rick the Million was something else.
The Million, another Uruguayan brother.
100%.
Did very well. He was also very flamboyant.
Very.
There were lots of, I remember hearing lots of stories. Even when I was away, I was running into a lot of people who used to say, oh yeah, man, I used to do some things for the Million. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I'll tell you a funny story about the Million. So he's from Uruguay. He's actually from the same area that my mama's from, Buceo, in Montevideo, which is the capital city. And she remembers... Rick the Million with a couple of like rust bucket like Mercs, I think she mentioned to me, but and he was like selling them or whatever. But that's the only sort of memory she has of the man. So and I think he's definitely, without knowing the story completely, I think he's one of those, kind of come up from the bottom and
100%.
And a lot of color and a lot of things along the way too. And he was like wasn't he the largest independent car retailer at one point or something like that?
100%.
Standalone,
standalone. So he was, there was no partners.
His own money.
It was
and
his
all
own
that.
money.
Yeah.
And he had that respect.
Uh-huh.
Very, very outspoken.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of being overseas with him on 2 occasions.
Okay, cool.
I was in Japan with him.
Uh-huh.
I was in. We had in 2007. We won. There was a dealer incentive where the top dealers got to go to. It was called the Great Race. So we got to go to London.
Wow.
We went to the Goodwood Revival, all right,
Okay.
which is like one of the most historic car meets you could ever go to. It was like the Melbourne Cup of car meets.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember putting on my 3-piece suit and having the pocket square and knowing that I was dining with Rick the Million that
Yeah.
day. Mate, he was
character.
He rocks up and
Yeah.
You
And
know-
he's passed away, right?
yeah, he passed away just recently, which is
yeah.
very, very sad. Like there was no send off and
Nah, because it all ended quite tragically for
Yeah.
him, right? Yeah. At least what we hear about, it was a bit of a collapse, no?
yeah.
Because one moment he was there, and one moment all the yards are empty, and yeah.
I remember it was my first day running Homebush and Rosebery. So it was, I think, September 2011.
Okay.
I'm at Rosebery. Every single general manager before me has either ended up sick, been fired, resigned, and now I'm running both. So I'm running the number 1 dealership in the country, Homebush, and then I've been given the task to run Rosebery too, to pick it up from where it was, because it was failing miserably. And I called the priest in, who's Father Stavros from Helston Park, and I got him to do a blessing.
Uh-huh.
And Honda was aware. I said, don't worry, we're going to get all the evil energy out. We're
Yeah.
going to do what's called an Ayahuasca, which is the blessing of the waters.
Uh-huh.
We're going to clear all those bad spirits out, and we're going to turn this place around.
Yeah.
That was at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
9 o'clock, I get a phone call from my rep at Honda Australia. His name was Mick Alton. Been in Honda for 30 years. He goes, mate, what did your priest do? So what do you mean? He goes, the padlocks are on the gates of Rick the Million. He's done. He's out. He's in receivership.
Wow.
So I get on the phone to the priest. I said, mate, what'd you do?
Yeah.
He goes, what do you mean? I said, I asked you to help clean the bad energy. I didn't ask you to take out the
Send it all.
competition. So, yeah, that was, and
Yeah.
let it be known, 2011, 12 and 13 were
Boom
by
time.
far the most profitable years.
Yeah.
For Tony Azzi, the owner,
Yeah.
for myself as a general manager.
Yeah.
And it was, that were the glory years.
And you touched on the priest. So your religion is your
Greek
faith?
Orthodox.
Greek Orthodox,
Yeah.
of course. All right, cool. So back to you now. I guess for people that aren't really sort of let's say car sales enthusiasts, but there's a lot of car enthusiasts out there.
Yeah.
Talk about the cars, because you guys had Honda, but you also had a lot of other brands under your umbrella.
So when I first started, Lark Hoskins was a Volvo dealer. That didn't work out too well.
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
Well,
I
mate,
had a Volvo.
You had
Yeah.
a Volvo, Paulie.
I-
really?
Yeah,
Which one, Paulie?
Some 70s one. My first car.
Wow.
Well, you know what, growing up, all my uncles had the 1980 Volvo. I think it was the 944 or the 940.
Uh-huh.
One had a blue one had a yellow one had
Yeah.
a white one.
None of them got
That-
laid, right?
No, not at all.
How did you go with the Volvo, Paulie?
Well, my mum actually wrote it off. She hit a telegraph pole, like,
Oh, God bless you,
But
Mum.
she was fine, yeah?
yeah, she was fine.
They're the safest cars in the world,
You can't
brother.
knock that, man. Yeah, that's right. Well, she probably did you a favour anyway, Paulie, without meaning to.
True.
Shout out to Paulie's mum. We love her. She's
Yeah.
another character, man. Yeah. God bless your mama. So okay, cool. So Volvo, and then
So, yeah, that was the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty much just Honda. Then we picked up Suzuki.
yep,
That was a cool brand.
yep,
I've made lifelong relationships there.
yeah,
Michael Picotta, who was just my rep at the beginning,
yeah,
hands down, and we've got to get him on this show, yeah? Because the quickest rise in the motor industry belongs to one man, Michael Picotta, who was a normal rep, servicing his dealers,
yeah.
to state manager, to general manager, to pretty much the man in Suzuki right now.
Uh-huh.
So, and he's been, next to me all the way.
Uh-huh.
Still checks in.
Yeah.
Even though I've been out now for over a year.
Yeah.
Just a dude, yeah.
Great to hear, man.
And you know what? There's some history between you and and Michael Picotto.
Really?
He used to be known as Luna.
Oh, get out of town,
Yes,
man. Of
brother.
course. I know Luna, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
of course. MC Luna. Shout out to MC Luna, man, my man.
100%.
Yeah. We kind of missed each other because his career as an MC was when I was away. When I came back, it was kind of coming to an end. I seen him a few times out in the clubs and stuff when I got out. This is about 2010, 2011. And as soon as he saw me, he was like, yo, Rafa, how you doing, man? He used to give me the mic,
Yeah.
and he used to say to me, yo, man, look, I'm MCing. He goes, but I'm kind of not really MCing anymore, man. So, do your thing. He goes, now I'm in cars and I'm going corporate. And he was already wearing suits and
That's
stuff.
Luna,
and I was
yeah,
like,
that's Luna.
cool, man, all good, bro, all love. A lot of people expect MCs to be all like, and he was cool, so I really appreciated that. Plus, when I got out, I didn't know shit. I was like lost,
Yeah.
So Luna, shout out to Luna, man. He's a character too, man, and good on him, man. Send him my love because you'll speak to him before me.
Yeah,
definitely wish you all the best, brother. God bless.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. So but then you got Nissan towards the end.
That's
I
right.
remember that bit.
We
Yeah,
picked up Nissan in 2017,
sure.
July.
Yeah,
And that was, so it was Nissan, Suzuki, Honda,
sure.
and that saw me out until April of 19.
And some of the more memorable cars, because obviously you've sat in some pretty amazing cars. I'm sure being in the industry, you've had some fun with rides and everything.
I have.
So tell us a bit about that, because I'm sure a lot of car enthusiasts are going to be tuning in. I am one myself, as you know well, man. So tell us a bit about that.
So I was there for the S2000. We actually bought the last 3
Yeah.
S2000s in production.
Uh-huh.
One of which is still sitting in the Tony Azzi showroom in Rosebery, which is undriven, white with red interior. Beautiful cars.
Had the big push start button, no?
Big push start button.
Yeah, I
Then
remember.
you had the Civic Type R.
Of course.
So I've seen a couple of those releases. I saw the 07 release. Then there was the most recent release.
Yeah,
20.
that thing's a beast. Yeah.
Beautiful cars.
Beautiful car,
And then in the used car market, I've seen everything. You name it, I've seen it, from your AMG 63s.
Of course.
And
all the wogs.
I've seen them all. I've seen them all.
And tell me something. I know you didn't sell the most amazing cars, but driven or your favorite car, or what will your dream car be? Because asking that question to a normal person is one thing, but your car industry, legend.
I was blessed to have
Push that
been.
in a little bit, hermano.
I was blessed.
No, you can lay back, man. You just let her come to you like this.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Gracias, man.
Then,
I was blessed to have gone to a lot of the Porsche launches. And for me, there's only one car.
911.
It's a 911 turbo. And I don't care about anything else. I've driven Hurricanes, I've driven 488s, I've driven them all. But for me, if there was something to say, Nick, pick a car, any car, it'd be a 911 turbo.
Which year? Which model?
For me, it doesn't matter.
Any.
Obviously.
So a lot of people say,
the
the Bad
classic,
Boys
you get
one.
the Bad Boys one.
Yeah.
Me, just give me the new one under warranty. Thank you very much.
Of course.
That's it.
I'm not a Porsche man. My woman's actually a Porsche. She's a Porsche lady, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy one eventually, I think. But Porsches. I think you either love them or you don't really like them. I'm not gonna say hate them, because I don't hate them, but it's one of those things, right? But you can't deny the performance and the handling and all that,
And for me, it's an everyday driver. It's you can't. I can't see myself pulling out a 488 out of the garage every day.
Yeah.
The 911, you could park it on the street
I get you.
and drive it every day.
Yeah.
Performance is there when you need it.
Yeah, it's actually a supercar, not in disguise, but it doesn't look like wow. It looks amazing, but it doesn't look.
And don't forget
like
my
what it
origins,
does.
hermano.
Yeah, of course.
Banks down, be wrong.
Of course.
You
You don't want to
If you
get
had
keyed.
one, of-
You don't want to get car keyed.
if you had one of those,
that's right.
in those areas,
That's right.
obviously,
knock on the door
knock on the door.
bag over the head.
Either that or you're getting raided every second day.
Yeah, indeed, man. Yeah. All right, cool. So, the cool thing, I remember crossing paths with you, thanks to our brother Chimbalada from Rhythm Brazil.
Let's not
And
forget.
and it was all about Brazilian Carnival.
That was epic.
2016.
100%.
2016.
February.
So my brother Chimbalada, shout out to Chimbalada, man. I love you, man. He's one of the brothers, one of the true Great people in the music
100%.
entertainment industry. At the head of Rhythm Brazil, which is by far like the biggest Brazilian performance company in Australia, in Sydney, in Australia. He says to me, "Man, I got this guy, man. He runs Honda. Man. He's going to sponsor the event. Okay, he's going to come. He's going to sponsor Brazilian Carnival. We were doing it at Ivy. And I'm like, really? Okay, cool. Nah, man, you're going to love this guy, man. I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. So we go meet this guy, and you know, the flamboyant, you know, the suit and everything. But the coolest thing was when I meet you, I felt like I had known you for a long time. And now, obviously, the more I get to know you, the story about your high school now, and the immigrant background and the area, Southwest Sydney, you know, it all kind of makes sense. But you know, when you meet people and you go, oh man, you know, like instantly, I kind of felt that I knew this guy for a long time. So that's when we meet each other. We did Brazilian Carnival. We did a few other things.
Off the charts.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a great night.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support back then, and still. Then we went ahead. We did World Cup HQ as well, which of course was another great success in 2018 from memory. And I remember saying to you, as a brother, not as a as a brother, saying, Nick, you should start your own thing, man.
Yeah.
Because not because I thought you were doing the wrong thing, but you know, by any stretch, because you were in control of your shit. Like, who am I to say, you know, anything like that? But I remember saying, like, you've got all this, you know, passion and networks and drive and heart and people that love you and follow you, and I knew that whatever you did, people were going to follow you. It probably would have sounded like someone speaking to you in Chinese at the time.
Yeah.
But eventually, you know, it was a bit of a rough end in the end.
Yeah, it was.
But that led you to starting your own company, which is Crash Claim.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right? And Crash Claim, by the way, founding sponsors of the show, Crash Claim Accident Management, making friends by accident.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's
But so you know, started small, and quickly developing into something which now is, you know, is successful in its own right, and it's growing even through the, you know, the whole COVID thing that we're under at the moment. It's still growing, which is great, amazing to see. And also I find providing a great service, because ultimately you're there for when people need help, and even though it is about making money, as all businesses are, it's a good business to be in, because you're bringing a good service to the community.
I think so.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we do that, when I first heard about accident management, because that's the right name for it,
That's
right?
right.
And it was actually through someone else. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. Then I went to the guy's office, and it was quite big, and lawyers and shit. And I said, oh, this must be. and the guy couldn't explain to me. Well, he explained to me what it was, but I still could not get it. And I wasn't that engaged anyway. But then you started your own company, and that's when I tried to get my head around it. So explain to the people at home what it is that accident management is, and what it is that Crash Claim does. You know, for customers and for the people.
Okay, so in its simplest form, we're the middleman between you and your insurer.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people will say, but I've got my insurer, why do I need to deal with them?
Yep.
Well, you're dealing with people, you know? It's that face-to-face interaction. You're not speaking to a call center in the Philippines, a machine, and you're not just a statistic. So the beauty of our business model and where we've had most success, a lot of people don't know the procedures, the systems.
Of course.
They're just unawares.
Yeah.
We've got a point of difference where we treat every claim the same.
Yeah.
So if you've had an accident and it's your fault, if you've had an accident, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
You do with us, you don't pay anything.
Yeah.
Excess is free, you get a replacement car. We come to you, we pick up your car, we repair your car, you drive our car, we do everything.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a concierge service.
Yeah.
We've had massive success out of the Korean market, Asian market, Chinese market.
안녕. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. You know, and we found multiple situations where, but the client doesn't know if it's their fault. They don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
They get put through a machine.
Yeah.
They're not looked after.
Yeah.
You know, they have a rear end accident, and that little blemish on the front bar that's annoyed them for a couple of years is totally ignored. They're not entitled to a hire car. We overcome all that.
Yeah.
We overcome the language barrier. So we provide, you know, interpreters, Korean speaking people that work for me. And then we've extended that model and formula to multiple of nationalities.
Sure.
With your help, the Latinos in Sydney.
Yeah.
I've got a Mandarin speaking Chinese worker.
Yep.
Myself dealing with the Greeks. I've got an Iraqi boy that's multilingual. We'll speak to the Assyrians.
He's the man, bro.
He's a good boy, yeah?
He's the man.
Yeah. Shout out to Zaid.
Man,
Zaid,
shout out
my
to
man
Zaid,
Zaid.
man, the man, yeah, man. Shout out my brother. Big heart too, man. Big man.
Japanese market we've picked up through little Emily.
Yep.
Shout out to Ems.
Shout out to Emily, man. Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just being able to provide that service to people that don't have the time.
Yeah.
So we've picked up a few fleet companies, corporates. Nick, mate, this car's off the road.
Yeah.
And a shout out to the brother from Dalkin Hygiene,
Bobby. Yeah, man. Shout out to Bobby.
You know, handling his fleet.
Yeah.
Magic Glass. My brother there handling his fleet, and so on and so on and so on. And you know, they have an accident, they call us, we go, we process the claim, we give them a replacement car.
Sure.
We handle everything.
Yeah. So yeah, because I think a lot of these big companies, they kind of profit from, you know, people not knowing and
100%.
Yeah, of course. And
you know?
and these big behemoths, monolithic companies, they, you know, it's very hard to get on the phone, speak to someone. No one sort of fronts up, as we would say. No one takes responsibility, and I guess that's where the human kind of aspect comes in, and that's where companies like yours come in and take over that role and make sure people don't fall through the cracks.
100%.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
You know, I've seen it multiple times where, you know, you've got choice of own repair on your policy, and then you got that claims handler from your NRMAs and you whoever, GIOs, not singling out an insurer.
Yeah.
But mate, they're pushing you to go to their own repairer.
Of course.
Like, really? You know, you're paying extra on your policy, on your premium, to have the choice, to have that freedom. Yeah. But yet you're being pushed into being part of their process. Yeah. And there's a reason why they want you part of their process. And I've seen it. Yeah. You know, the damage is on the bar, but they're not going to cover the blemish on the boot. Yeah. Second-hand parts, aftermarket parts being used. Yeah.
They try and cut corners. Yeah.
It's disgusting what they can get away with.
Yeah.
And we come in as a sort of compliance for that not to happen to the client.
Yep.
And obviously, there's something in it for us.
Of course.
I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah, great, man.
I'm having fun doing it.
Another thing too that I think I've overheard here and there is a lot of the times when there's accidents, you know, the bullies or people that are shifty, shonky, they kind of try and, you know, and get away with it or whatever. And that's also where you guys can provide a bit of advice and kind of steer people in the right direction.
I remember when we put our first ad on the Colombians in Sydney page.
Yep.
And you had
owned by yours truly.
Yes.
If you'd like to advertise on Colombianos in Sydney, contact www.mcrafa.com.
Gracias.
Booyah!
So
Polly, do I get a clap or something? Look, I got to wake him up. Thank you. One day you can get a clap too, Nick.
I love that, man. Let me know when, Paul.
We got that one too, brother. Be careful. If you drop a clanger, we'll come after you. Paulie's ruthless when he's awake. Wake up, Paulie. Anyway, sorry about that, brother.
Oh, good, man.
Sorry, Nick. I'm fascinated by this story.
Good on you, champ.
So we were hanging out here, man, on a Sunday with a beautiful lunch. We put that post on the Colombian page. Tuesday we get an inquiry.
Yeah.
Mate, the gentleman is a policeman in the force of Hispanic background.
Yeah.
His wife made the inquiry. They've been rear-ended. They've got insurance, but only third party, but are covered up to $5,000.
Yeah.
Have been rear-ended by another gentleman. He's got no insurance.
Yeah.
They're stuck. Their car's got $8,000 worth of damage according to the choice of own repairer of their insurer. And mate, they can't fix the car. They're stuck. They've got no replacement car. They've made the inquiry through us. We've taken on the job. We've fixed it within the budget of their 5,000. Given them a replacement car. They've got 2 kids. Provided baby seats. Gave them the full VIP service. Mate, just the appreciation and the acknowledgement that they gave us on Google.
Yeah.
It'd be good if I could bring it up.
Yeah.
But just that's what we're about, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
Well, I mean, I know just by hearing you that you're very, very, very passionate, which is great, and I think that's part of your success, and also I think it makes it easier to get up in the morning and go to work, right?
Yeah,
and
you
I've
got
had
purpose.
I've had a couple of I've been fortunate to have a couple of passionate people already on the show. Josh Lee, my brother, whom you know very well, Nino Brown as well, and you can see. How important it is to be passionate about what you do and trying to find that passion, because that's that fire that burns and gets you up every morning and allows you to achieve and to succeed because it's your passion. You know, like it's you're not. I mean, it is work. It's a generating an income. It's paying the bills for your family and all these things. But ultimately, you want to find something to get you out of bed every morning and want to be.
That old saying, hermano, you know, love what you do and you don't have to work a day in your life.
Exactly,
and
my
that's.
friend, yeah.
Mate, we're loving it. We're loving
good.
it. From
Great
me
to hear,
to the
man.
staff, and
Yeah.
mate, very blessed. Very
Yeah.
blessed. It's been a big turnaround for us.
Now, another thing I love, and I bring this up with the few fortunate friends that I've seen that rise and that development, is that I remember hearing in its infancy the idea about the accident management business, confused as I was of its actual nature. But and then, you know, it's almost like if there was a timestamp at that very moment, and there was a timestamp now, I mean, Nick in that day would have, you know, he would have loved, and he would have, you know, totally spun out and lost his mind if he would have seen what happened
absolutely.
less than 2 years after the inception.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
Truly humbled and forever
That's amazing,
grateful.
man. I want to congratulate you on that,
gracias,
because
hermano.
I've been fortunate enough sometimes to plant those seeds, and then when you actually see it, even though because you're inside, let's say, you know, from the inside it's kind of, but from the outside, it's a much broader vision, and it's amazing, and congratulations, and I love seeing it in you, and I love seeing it in everybody, and I think it's a very positive influence. And that's why I love having people on this show, man, because we can bring these stories to light, but also hopefully people at home.
Thank you, Paulie.
He's, I don't think, has anyone got those besides me?
Nah.
He's the first one.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Gracias.
Nick Carr is the first
Gracias,
one.
Paulie.
Yeah, so as I was saying, and the cool thing about what we're doing today is, of course, we're having a great time, and we're hoping that everybody's having a great time with us. But I hope that people listen to this show and can get something out of it. You know, all the young hustlers out there trying to start something new, all the people trying to improve the position that they're already at. So that's why I love sharing the stories of people that have reached those levels of success, as you have, both inside a company, someone else's company, and also creating your own company. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, and this was part of the conversation I had with you that day as well, how much more fulfilling it is to have your own thing,
100%.
even though, you know, it's nowhere near probably as big as currently, let's say, excuse me, as you know, as the behemoth that was like Hoskins and then Sutton's, but how rewarding it is to, you know, it's almost like your fourth child, right?
That's right.
Yeah. It's yours. You know, and you've seen it come from nothing. And no doubt it's going to go a very long way, brother, because, you know, as we were saying before, all about the passion and everything. But another thing I want to talk about is the transformation for you has been in the workplace, in your career. But it's also been a physical one, because along the way, here comes our little brother Josh Lim,
100%.
who's been on the show, as I was saying. Josh, shout out to the brother Josh, and boxing's become a big thing for you. Absolutely. And I can also testify to the positive influence that has had, and it's had on my life, and it's had on a lot of people's lives. And one of the things I say to people is, you know, the body, you got to take care of the body. You know, being fit is not only about the, you know, the ego side of the six pack and whatever. it's because it makes every aspect of your life better. You're a better worker, you're a better father, you're a better everything, because you've got that oxygen, you've got that fitness, you've got the hormones pumping and everything, right? And it makes you eat better, and it makes you feel better, and in turn makes you a better human being. And ultimately, this is what life is all about. In my opinion, it's that greater purpose. It's that being the best version of yourself that you can be. And without the body, really, you're never going to be complete. And when I say the body, again, I'm not talking about having the body. I'm talking about looking after the trunk. So the tree,
200%.
Yeah, so the branches of the tree can develop to their full potential. Without that trunk, you don't have that, that stability. So let's talk a little bit about that, and it's probably a good time to bring up some of these photos that we have, because you've got some balls, my friend, because, to get in the ring and fight with someone, toe to toe and all that, that's not for anybody. And also the challenge of getting the body ready and the mind ready and all those things, and learn the craft of boxing, because it is an incredibly complex craft with timing, and then obviously you can learn all the timing and everything, but then someone else is going to hit you, and then the training goes out the door.
Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Exactly, yeah, and you know that better than most. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because along the way I've heard all the stories from you, and I've seen it on social media and from Josh and others around you. So Nick becomes a boxer. He meets the brother Josh. Go back one. That one there. There's the brother Josh.
Yeah.
So early mornings.
Well, yeah.
How did this all come about?
It was through UREF.
I know the introduction was, but then you guys kind of all gelled.
Look, I was so it began in about, I was going through my darkest days. Yeah?
Yes.
I could see the writing. It was on the wall with my career in Honda, and it was going to come to an end. And made just some bad lifestyle choices. Yeah.
Sure.
Really, really poor choices, and I found myself, we talk about being the best version of ourselves. Sure. I found myself being the worst version of me. Substance abuse.
Yes, because there was some of that. I mean, we can speak frankly.
There was plenty of that. Yeah. Let it be no secret. With success, came the lifestyle.
Of course.
And the car industry is so predominant with abuse.
Yeah.
We talk about colourful figures like Rick Dominion. It was part of the package.
Yeah, sure.
And there was always an excuse for it.
Sure.
Had a good month, let's party. Had a shit month, let's party.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Stressful market, let's party. Good market, let's party.
Sure.
And we were forever partying, making introductions to wholesalers, suppliers. The substance abuse was an ingredient in all scenarios in the car industry.
Yeah.
And let it be known, it got the better of me. Came the recreational aspect to the, it's
habitual.
I'm doing it every day.
Yeah.
And if not every day, every second day.
Yeah.
And if not every second day, every weekend.
So we're talking alcohol.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Followed by cocaine.
Yeah.
And then that followed by sleeping tablets.
Sure, of course.
It was that cycle. So you'd finish the day, you're at a function, everyone's on the drink. Next thing you know, someone's made the call, everyone's on the lines, and then you need to sleep. So it became the cycle.
Yeah, exactly. We're creatures of habit, man. Once you're in that hamster wheel, it just
And then waking up the next day, you're groggy. So you
have to get back up.
You have to get back up. It wasn't so much for me, but then you're eating bad food. You're craving the salts, the grease.
Yeah.
It became disgusting, man.
Sure.
And you could see by the photos, like, I'd be 88 kilos there.
Yeah.
I couldn't notice an extra chin on that one.
Yeah, definitely, man. The transformation is visible, my brother. Visible, man. Full power to you, bro. Like, I love seeing you nowadays. I remember coming to see you sometimes. I'm like, fuck, man, this guy's looking mad puffy.
Yeah.
The face, the eyes, that water retention.
The eyes never lie, Chico.
Yeah, true.
And that was, mate, as much as I disguised it and masked it to the masses.
Oh, of course.
Mate, the reality was I wasn't well. And that's the pebble effect, man. You're not well, your family's not well, your community's not well.
Most definitely, brother. Most definitely.
And when you're in a position of leadership, you got to step up. So for me, you made the interaction, and that was the start. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to find something that's going to break that cycle. And, you know, that along with the other thing you introduced me to, and I'm sure we're going to get to that.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. Most definitely.
You know, that were the shifts, and boxing was one of the shifts. And and it was hard. It wasn't easy. You know, I remember the mornings when Josh was out the front waiting for me.
Yeah.
And it'd be 5 in the morning, but I just finished the 3 a.m. bender.
Wow.
So there was that humiliation of fuck, I can't come out.
Yeah.
Excuse the French. Or the coming out and does Josh know? Can he tell? Man, I was battling demons. It wasn't until I got out of the car industry in itself, did some solid work, you know, with our plants, that the shifts came with the momentum built. Where I could say, you know what, I'm ready to have a fight. And that was...
Yeah, because you got nothing else to worry about at the time.
Yeah.
Excuse me again. You got nothing else to worry about at the time, no stress in the world, and on top of that, I'm going to have a fight.
I'm going to have a fight. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And that for me was
no half measures.
Nah, that for me was the move, yeah, the turning point to say, you know what, if I can do this, what else can I do? That fight for me wasn't just entering the ring and slogging another guy and getting slogged. Yeah. Mate, it was a challenge to my own headspace and my own personal well-being and for me, for my family, like, if I can commit to this and if I can achieve this, I can achieve anything. Yeah. And it was just a symbolic measure of what the head can do and what the heart can do when you just push yourself and keep going, you know? Going in that one more round and mate, something's going to give.
Yeah, full power to you, man, because I also know that, you know, smoking at the time and not coming from a very fit platform. You know,
not at all, man.
Yeah, it was a big transformation and it was only like a few weeks. So you know, no joke. And as I said before, I know you lost the fight and that was controversial or whatever.
It was.
But regardless, the fact is you were there, you know, and that to me says a lot about you and anyone really that steps up and does that, because I don't think it's for everybody, and testament to your dedication. But since we're looking at photos, we might as well look at a few more, because you know, we like doing this and we like seeing people's reaction and they can talk a little bit about it. So feel free to elaborate. Paulie B and his incredible picture flicking skills that he's developed over the past 5 days. Don't let me down, brother. Paulie? Hello? All right, so this is going way back, right? This looks like Backstreet Boys days.
It is. That t-shirt says Backstage. Backstage was a clothing brand that belonged to my first cousin. So, you know, we were blessed to have been born in an era of fashion. I don't know
Debatable.
I don't know how fashionable that look is, but that was.
So who's the guy on the left?
That's my cousin Arthur.
No, the guy on the left.
That's me, man.
Oh, is that you?
That's me.
The young wog on the left.
I've got the earring. I've got the Versace watch.
Yeah. Good days.
Good days.
Ah,
that was.
That Harley's still that's at your office. Is that the one at your office?
Yeah, man. Okay. That's probably the one possession I held on to.
Yeah. What is that?
We had a lot that we let go, but mate, I held on to that one. That's a 2008 Heritage Softail. So Harley Davidson.
Very nice.
Yeah. A lot of classic. Lot of mods done to it, but very, very meaningful, that bike. It's done as many weddings as it's done funerals for me. So it's very, very sentimental bike.
Yeah.
Very sentimental.
And I know recently you lost someone, man. So rest in peace.
Thank you.
Beautiful cousin, man. Sorry to hear about that, my brother. But yeah, the cigarette, man. We let's lose that.
Yeah. That's gotta go.
Van Damme.
Yeah. That was a
quick photo, or
just a quick
photo.
A quick chat, or
no.
Mate, it was his performance in the casino.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wasn't one of his best, that's for sure. So we could probably flick that one and find something a little bit more interesting.
I think he's had his time in the sun a long time ago.
He's had a few laps in the sun.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a photo.
There's the boys.
And there's a.
That's the time we met.
Oh mate, look at that. Yeah, look at the belly over.
That's right. Double chin, belly. Yeah.
Look at the eyes.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
But still fun, getting the job done.
Yeah.
You know, a big heart, helping out everybody, and you know, carrying a lot of things, and your own demons as well. Which
and you can say I'm carrying a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in places where I shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, mate, look, it was regardless of what I was going through personally and this
Yeah.
and that, mate. The one thing where I'll give myself credit is I always fronted, I always
Yes.
turned up,
Yeah, man.
and
That's
I
very important.
always
yeah.
turned up and had a go.
Yeah.
And no one can deny me of that.
Yep.
And I think in the end, that's what really made the difference.
Yes,
Is
bro, of
that
course.
does not matter what you're going through. Doesn't matter how hard you're falling. Turn up, man. Because
Yes, my
that
brother.
one day where that one opening will come.
Yeah.
And that might be the door
Yeah.
that you walk through that leads to this new life. Yeah.
Yeah, look, there's one thing that we've been mentioning in the shows, the importance of you know that the importance of showing up, the importance of you know the frequency and you know and you cannot sort of just do well on your good days. You got to do well on your good days, on your bad days, and on every other day. And you know you can't give up, and you got to keep at it. And it's that intensity, and definitely that's a testament to what you've achieved. Because you know now looking back, yes, you know you were having horrible times and everything, but you were still there, you were still at it. I remember going to these events that we used to put on, and I remember seeing you doing 45 things at once, which nowadays you only do 35 things at once. But for me, even though internally all of those things were happening, I saw a man that was very much doing his best, having a great time. Again, the huge heart, and you had all these people around you, and it was like a circus, and you were the ringmaster. Yeah. And I was feeling very flowery that day.
Yeah, too, did ya? I brought the pink out. So
yeah, man. When I saw you, I was like, oh. When I saw you, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Soul brother. What else you got there, Polly? Ah, there's the family, man.
Yeah.
Introduce us to your kids, man. Beautiful
So
family you have there.
You got Natasha, who's my oldest.
Yes.
So she
following in daddy's footsteps.
Yeah. She's something very special.
Yeah.
She was born in 2010.
Uh-huh.
The year of the white tiger.
Uh-huh.
So 1 in 400 years. We celebrate
really?
the year of the white tiger.
Oh, okay, cool.
So she was
that.
a blessing. She arrived some 21 days after my 30th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so very, very special girl.
Uh-huh.
And then we got Constantina.
Yep, middle one.
Who's the middle one.
Mm-hmm.
Middle kid syndrome.
Yep.
She's very different to the other two.
She is, yeah.
But very special too.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Heart of gold, and
yeah.
She's
almost maternal. That's what I see.
Very
She's
maternal. Very maternal.
Yeah.
She's already started baking cakes on her own.
Yeah. I tried some the other night. Yeah.
Makes daddy a tea when he
I
comes
know.
home.
She's beautiful, man.
On her own.
Yeah. Very giving.
Yeah, very giving, very maternal.
Yeah.
And then you got little Theodore, man, who's just on another level.
Yeah.
It's Theodore in Theodore's world.
Yep.
And mate,
yes, he is in his own world, man. Yeah, no doubt.
Don't even
a good place to be. Good
don't
place to
even
be.
try and take him out of that world, because Theodore's comfortable and happy in Theodore's world. So
yeah, God bless
we
him.
leave
man.
him there.
Yeah.
And let him be Theodore in that space.
Uh-huh.
And then my beautiful wife, who's
man.
been through it all, seen it all, and had my back from day dot. Yeah. And
through it all.
still does.
Yeah.
So they say
the beautiful Helen.
you're only as good as your woman.
Yeah.
Hey, blessed.
Good on you, man. Well done. Full power to you, man, because they say everything that happens in your life is your, like, not your fault, but it's your doing, good or bad.
100%.
And a lot of people, obviously, we say blessings and we say we're lucky, which we are, but it's still something that you attracted, whether it be in this life or another life, or it's ancestral or whatever it is.
Whatever it is, man.
All of these things come at us.
Yeah,
give thanks, man, 100%. Now, this is another side of you, man, which is very interesting. And again, it's a mold breaker, because you've done a couple of real crazy, shit that, you go, what? So on top of everything else, you've done like 2 rescues, like full blown, you've rescued people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this one was the burning home one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So tell us about that.
So I believe this one's a bit over dramatized to the other one. Yeah, the other one was a bit more.
Okay, cool.
A bit more surreal.
Yeah.
But basically, we've finished church. We've come to work. There's a building down the road that's a house that belongs to a local resident that we know. There's smoke coming from it. You know, the curious me goes to have a look.
Yeah.
I see the daughter outside. I said, "Where's Mum?" She's inside. So, all right, let's go get her. So we go get Mum. We take her out. We cross the road, and the house falls down. So at the time, it
didn't feel dangerous.
No, it didn't feel dangerous at all.
Okay,
I'd done
cool.
what you would have done, what anyone would have done.
Yeah. Well, maybe
yeah.
so. Yeah.
That's how it felt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
it was almost like autopilot, right?
yeah,
you just
there you go, and then the roof falls. Okay. Honestly, didn't think of anything at the time.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I've got Simon Buddha, he's become a real good mate after that.
Okay.
Interviewing me in front of the dealership.
Yeah.
I'm on, 6 o'clock news. I'm receiving accolades for it. I'm in newspaper articles and yeah, a little bit overwhelming. Humbled by the acknowledgement, but I'll say it again, a little bit over dramatized. I wasn't Superman flying in. Yeah, building, burning buildings that are falling
that's
apart.
what movies are for. Yeah, in real life, usually is quite,
that's right.
Yeah, not as cinematic, let's say.
Definitely not.
And then the second one.
The second one, I was at a father and daughter camp, fresh out of ceremony. Yeah. Fresh out of dieta.
Wow.
And yeah, I heard screams. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I then go I walk out, follow the screams. I've got another parent following me with a torch. Get to a cliff face. It's in Deer Park, so Port Hacking or whatever the waters are there. There's a lady drowning in the water, man. So I'm in a 20-meter cliff face. End up jumping down, jump in, grab her. She's out cold. Shove my fingers down her throat. Froze up. She's awake. We take her to shore. Here we are.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a little bit more dramatic. I still, I had some plant and animal instincts going through me that day. But mate, just right place, right place, right time, and I was the only one that heard her. So she was screaming apparently for 20 minutes prior, and the whole campsite, nobody heard her. So I just happened to wake up, hear her, and did what I had to do. Like,
wow.
Yeah, that was a...
Well, I mean, rescuing someone's life, man. I mean, probably when you were doing it, I'm sure it was all instinctive and whatever. But in hindsight, I'm sure when you think about it, it's like, wow, right? Because it's a wow moment.
Definitely the second one was a wow moment for me.
Yeah, because you literally ripped her out of death and brought her back into the living world. You know, that's amazing. Yeah. And I wonder how she feels, man, because... if it's intense for you and whatever, imagine
on the night, she like absolute appreciation and just
wow.
But no, I've never checked in or I've never followed it. It was just it happened there and then, and that was it. So.
Well, you've done your bit, man. It's probably up to her to follow through. You'd say so, man. Right. Maybe send you a client or two to crash claim or something.
That'd be nice.
But before we do that. So awards, because of those, was it bravery awards?
So I got a commander's award for the first one.
That's from the police.
From the police.
Okay, sure. I think we've got a photo of that.
And that was special. With my family and being presented. That's the one there. Yeah, that's and again, look at the face, man.
Yeah, that's the old Nick, man. That's the Nick that I meant. I was talking about before, man.
Not healthy.
But a good moment still. Yeah.
A very good moment.
Yeah, recognition
but
from.
But I will say something honest on air. Yeah, like mate, that was a dark period in my life. So,
sure.
As good as that moment was,
you weren't there.
How great would that moment be now to be able to receive?
Being present.
Be present. Yeah.
And in tune with yourself.
So, there's mixed emotions looking at that.
Yeah. I get you, man. I
probably had a big night the night before, to be honest.
Yep. But it still doesn't take away from the achievement and from the fact that you did what you did and you helped those people as you've helped so many more. But obviously this is, life or death kind of situations, And then, I mean, a lot of your work as well has been in the community with charities and with things like that, through the church as well. I know you've done a lot. And so this one's quite a recent one, right? I can tell by the hairstyle.
It's a funny story, this one, mate. I'd love to share it.
Please.
So, under Suddens, we made a commitment to support the St. George Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
As we know, the exit from Suddens wasn't the best.
Yep.
That'll be something that pops up in the future, and we could probably dedicate a podcast to that.
No problem.
That'd
you know
be
where
fun.
we are.
So Suddens pulled their sponsorship.
Okay.
Immediately after.
Yeah.
They pretty much rang, and no disrespect to the owners, Craig or Ryan or Laurie Sudden, but senior management at the time made the what I would say is a pathetic and heartless decision to tell the St. George Children's Hospital that Nick Karagiannis doesn't work for us, and it was without our authority that he was sponsoring your event. Please remove us from all media. Now, my partner in crime, Paula Hood, who we shared multiple sponsorships together,
Sure.
Chris O'Brien, you name it, like Paul was always there.
Big operator as well, right?
Big
Paula
operator
Hood,
of the
yeah.
markets. Paula Hood, Uncle Tony's Fruits,
Okay.
and a big plug to his son, Paula Hood from Paula Hood Funerals.
Uh-huh.
So, massive supporters.
The La Hood family. Shout out to the La Hood family, man.
Yeah,
Lebanese, right?
Yeah, Lebanese. Yeah. Just Paul's been
Habibi.
like
You fuck Habibi. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Shukran kitir. Tawal bellik. Sorry, man.
Any more, man?
I've got a few, man. Sahtin and all these other things there. Don't worry. But anyway, we'll back to the story instead of my travels around the Middle East.
Good ones of it, yeah?
Yeah, man. Awesome, brother. Yeah. Can't complain, man. Always good.
So they've removed the sponsorship, and Paula Hood and I have just made the decision that the show will go on, yeah?
Yeah.
So we needed to come up with a car, because part of Southern's commitment was to donate a car.
Mm-hmm.
So we did. I donated the car myself personally.
Yep.
I used my tax return from the previous year to pay for that car.
Uh-huh.
And in the end, we had the most amazing night. It was blessed.
Yeah.
And we actually raised about $100,000. There was 96 that went to the Children's Hospital.
Sure.
And there was $10,000 that went to Angel Man Syndrome, which was a joint cause that we committed to that evening.
Wow.
With our backs against us, we lost about 5 tables. So, it was you couldn't be seen socialising with Nick after the departure.
Oh.
So we lost about 5 tables from different co-sponsors with Suttons.
Yeah.
And last minute, we had a full house at the Dalton House.
Sure.
And a great event. And
I'm sure you went above and beyond as always, man.
It
Phone calls.
It was special.
1,000 messages.
Special.
Yeah,
special.
sure.
Special.
Well, yeah. So being that modern era, let's say, I'm sure you felt it a lot more, and you were able to appreciate it a lot more.
That was by far one of the most.
Yeah, because it's not your only time that you've done charities.
We've done a few.
You've been doing it for a while.
We've done a few.
You've been doing it for a long time. I know. Yeah.
That old story, can't say no.
Can't say no, Nick, man.
That old can't say no, Nick.
Yeah. So. Very powerful to be able to say no.
I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way, but definitely.
Yeah.
Something that I'll push to everyone, man. It's saying no's big, yeah. There's
huge.
A big level of freedom in saying no.
Yes, my friend, no doubt about it.
And that was a lifelong curse that I had, which only now, recently, I'm starting to learn how to say no.
Very important.
Have I mastered that art yet? No.
You probably never will completely, because you got a giving nature. People that have that giving nature, you will always struggle with it. But I mean, at least you can balance it, and I guess if at the right time or the wrong time, if at the right time with the wrong person, you can say no. At least once in a while, you'll probably avoid a lot of headaches. And actually, I do remember my own journey. I was in the middle of my sentence, Lithgow jail, and I'll tell the story real quick. But I was helping out everybody, and everybody was letting me down, and all this so-called family that I had. Not my real family, but all these sort of hangers-on, and everyone's falling off and they're turning on me. Because my theory, since I was a kid, and this is thanks to my mama, rest in peace, was, these are not her words, but these are my words, is everybody's a brother until they prove you wrong. And what happens with that is you let all these people into your life and into your house that without that screen, without that filter, and once they're inside, all these problems happen, and unfortunately you attract probably more predators than well-intentioned people. You know, the predators on the savannas of Africa, you know, they don't go for the strong, you know, animals that are going to fight back. They go for the weak ones. And I'm not saying for one second that weakness is what I'm talking about, but it, you know, they recognize, they ask, and when you don't say no, they go, okay, cool, what else can I get from this person? So I'm having this moment, and everyone's a brother until they prove me wrong. I walk into my cell feeling devastated, and that night I was literally bouncing off the walls, hating life, hating the world, you know, sort of really mad at myself at what had sort of occurred in the last few months and years since my arrest. And I said, you know what? I've got my mum, I've got my sister, I've got my close family, and I've got my brothers, my true brothers that were with me. I don't need anyone else. Politely, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's a cunt.
Until they prove you otherwise.
Until they prove me wrong.
And you told me that, Amano, yeah?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And the next day, I walked out onto the yard, and some random guy asked me for a packet of noodles. Now, the previous guy would have been like, maybe I would have said no, but it was always like, my nature was always to say, I've got nothing. Well, I've got one or two, I'll give you one. But I said no. And what I noticed was there was no conflict, there was no drama, there was no nothing. Because what happens to with these predators is when they see that you're not like a mark, you're not a wounded animal in the savannah, they leave you alone. That's right. And they move on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know, so very quickly, and obviously in a very small scale, I learnt the power of saying no. So saying no is a very important thing. And actually, if I expand on that to other areas of life, what you say no to really determines who you end up being. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
It's easy to say yes to a lot of good things. I think it's hard to say no to some of these bad things. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if that's making sense, but I know that you kind of struggle with that. I remember seeing it. I probably still see it, but ultimately that's who you are, my brother. That's who we are too, because I myself, I'm proud of the fact that I like to help a lot of people and whatever. So
one of my tools, man, and that's really helped, and I'll share it there because it may help someone else.
I hope so.
May sleep on it.
Yeah, true.
You know?
Very true.
Just sleep on it.
Very true.
You don't have to answer there and then.
Very true.
Sleep on it. And that's been helping, yeah? So,
yeah.
You know, I'll get asked a difficult request or, you know, maybe...
a 50-50.
A 50-50. Mate, I'll go and sleep on it now. Can I come back to you tomorrow?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Mate, you know, let me just... It's not the right time now.
Yeah.
Let me just have a think and...
Yeah.
Mate, I'll give you an answer in the morning. Is that cool?
Yeah. And sorry to butt in, but I think another thing too is when you start saying no to the wrong people, these resources that you have, which ultimately, you know, there's only one set of resources that you have, whether it be your time or your funds or your favors or whatever's around you, whatever you have at your disposition. The more you say no to the wrong people, the more you can say yes to the right people.
100%.
And now all of a sudden you've got, you know,
it's a shift.
It's a big shift. Yeah. So you got all these energies and all this abundance going in the right directions. And what happens, that starts coming back because you're giving it to the right people. So there's this big shift in your life, and then, you know, and good breeds better, and so on and so on. So, you know, by no means does it mean don't help anybody.
Yeah.
It's more about helping the right people
100%.
At the right time.
100%.
When you can. And when you can't, I'm sorry.
That's right.
No, you know, many times I've had to say no to really good people in my life, you know, followed by a sincere apology and, you know, and come and see me again if I can help you out in the future somehow. But yeah, but definitely the power of no. But any more photos you want to look at, big man?
Hey, there he is.
Man, so...
Big difference in the eyes there. Yeah?
Big difference, brother. The brand new man. Yeah, definitely. So... The brother George, right?
Yeah.
He's killing it.
So he's absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
So he's they've just
introduce him for the people that don't know him. Yeah.
That's George Cambosis Jr.
Yep.
So I met George for the first time at La Hoskin Suzuki. He came looking for a car for his missus.
Sure.
and he was introduced by a very dear brother of mine, Peter Hatzis. Shout out to Peter Hatzis. He's one of the fan clubs, He in the cheer squad and the head of the cheer squad. Forever cheering you. With Peter, I can't do no wrong, So, those worst photos is for Peter. You can't do no wrong. He's a brother that loves you unconditionally.
God bless him.
He's he will never ever judge, and forever promoting and
supporter.
Just in the fan club, just in the cheer squad.
Yeah, man.
So he introduced George to me. George was looking for a car for his missus.
Yeah.
Mate, he was an upcoming fighter.
Yeah.
Mate, I did what I did best,
Yeah.
I looked after him with a good deal.
Yeah.
Funny, I bought that car back from him early this year for the same money he paid for it almost 5 years ago. So that's how good a deal it was.
Wow. I'm sure that had nothing to do with the fact that he is who he is.
Yeah. Nothing at all. But mate, he's one that doesn't forget. So
good,
he's been instrumental in my training.
Yeah.
And George is about to have a world title eliminator. For the IBF. I think it's the super lightweight.
He's currently third in the world, right?
He's number 3 in the world.
Number 3 in the world. Wow.
18-0.
Wow.
18-0.
Machine.
And just
Yeah.
Just an animal fight.
Powering through, yeah.
And then
full power.
I train with George 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And I'm just blessed.
Shout out to George, man.
Yeah.
I met
George
him real briefly at your memorable 40th.
Yeah.
That was amazing, man. Thanks for having me and my family there.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, George, man. Knock him out, bro. Knock him dead. Get in there.
Don't worry about that.
I don't want to imagine what you guys got to go through to get to where you want to be and where you are already and where you should be and where you will be if your dreams come true. But yeah, best of luck, man, and go knock him out. And let's try and get him on the show, man. I'd love to get him on the show. Yeah.
Awesome. So up for George.
I love this photo, man. Yeah. It's a great photo, and it's almost I think it symbolizes the coming out of the team, because I know a lot of these guys, well, obviously your beautiful wife's been with her for a long time, but these guys came out of the previous life, working life, and they're sticking with you with Crash Claim. Amazing photo. So introduce the guys there. We'll do them a quick shout out.
So from the left, we've got young Emily.
Sticking staunch.
Sticking staunch.
Hello, Emily. Konnichiwa. O genki desu ka? Genki desu. Dozo yoroshiku. Sorry.
We got Chris.
Chris
Choi, and then we got his brother James on the right, and of course Helen in the back, the director.
That's right. The what is it? The conductor.
The conductor.
Pulling the strings.
Yeah, that's right.
Not true. That's kind of got a negative connotation. And she's looking at me, like, and feel like it's burning on me. Shout out to the guys, man. I love this photo, man. It's a great photo. Yeah, amazing, man. Any more pics there, Paulie? Oh, there it is. That's the guy, huh?
That's the guy, yeah. So there'll be a rematch, man. Like,
you reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I'll be there. Next one.
100%.
That was the fight we were talking about that you you stepped up for. And this is a great pick, because this is obviously we're talking about the rise of Nick Karagiannis through the car dealership world, and Lark Hoskins, reaching national
that was
number one.
That was the peak. That was the number one dealer in Australia in 2009. Little bonus there, which was an IWC Portuguese, and all the other sales guys received Rolexes. So big recognition there. We sold 328 cars in December and 306 in January of that year. It's the first time any dealer hit 300 plus. It was.
I remember seeing the numbers later on, and obviously I don't know off the top of my head, but then the gap got bigger and bigger, didn't it? Yeah.
So we ended up. So that year we knocked off the number one dealer by 100 or so cars, but then the numbers started. They were unreal. They were insane. I think it was 2016. We were ahead by 600 cars. 2017, ahead by almost 1,000 cars.
Wow.
So you had number one, which was us, doing 2,000, number two doing 1,000.
Wow.
So we were just.
And they took you to. I remember you telling me they took you to the F1 in Singapore.
Yeah,
right?
we went
what
to
was
Singapore.
that like?
That was amazing.
Honda took you.
Yeah,
because Honda obviously being an F1.
No, to be honest, that particular trip, Suttons took us there.
Oh, okay.
So they had
my mistake.
plenty of incentives, and
Sure.
yeah, it was a wild week.
Yeah.
You know,
And Singapore's pretty cool. I like Singapore. I've been there, yeah.
Marina Bay Sands.
Marina Bay
Shout out to
Sands,
my
stayed
brother
there.
Michael Ma.
Uh-huh.
Michael Ma's one of the entrepreneurial guys with. He's got the restaurant on top of Marina Bay Sands.
Oh, wow. You mean coup d'etat or no, coup d'etat's the bar?
In the sky, what was it called? Might need some help. Super Tree.
Okay.
At Super Tree, yeah.
Thank you, Helen.
So that was just amazing experience.
Uh-huh.
He put it on for us over there.
Yeah. I've said I actually stayed at the Marina Bay Sands. I was there for a little business back in 14, I think it was, and it was my first trip after finishing parole.
Wow.
So it was a big deal for me.
Massive.
And I often say, I think quite comfortably, the best food I've ever tasted.
Yeah, Singapore rocks, man.
Was, funnily enough, the lunch buffet.
Wow.
At Marina Bay Sands.
Oh, wow, okay.
I was running around like a headless chook, if you want to say.
Yeah.
Eating, all this amazing food because, they got like Western and Asian and this Asian and that Asian and Italian. And I was just like running around from area to area eating. And it was just amazing. And the whole experience was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I also flogged a Ferrari through the streets of Singapore.
Yeah.
And I think technically they have speed limits, but I kept looking at the guy and he's like, go for it.
Don't worry about it.
Because the guy comes with you.
Yeah.
Man, I flogged that fucking thing around like you wouldn't believe it. And a few times I was going so fast that over the little sort of not bumps, but whatever on the road, the little undulations, it actually scraped.
Wow.
And I looked at the guy and he just said to me,
slow down a bit.
Take it easy.
Pull back.
Yeah. But that was pretty cool. So yeah, Singapore. It's like, it felt, in many ways, it felt like I was in Sydney, but in absolute tropical heat. And probably because it's clean and sort of how it looks a little bit. Not that, it's Sydney by any stretch, but yeah, so that's Singapore, man. So
cracker.
Maybe we should go one day together.
Man. Newton Circus,
try and make
some
it
chili
happen.
crabs.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, I'm just happy you're in Juro, man. Put it that way.
Right. Same.
Welcome to La Finca. We might I don't know if tonight, but I've told you before we can get the sauna cranking and we can do some jump in the pool and do some hot cold and whatever to get the body nice and relaxed and
anytime,
fire up all the
anytime.
The anti-aging and all that. Yeah, so that's probably how we spend most of our time talking about things when it's not about work and stuff like that. But speaking of interesting, transformational health and all these aspects, you knew eventually we were going to talk about ayahuasca.
100%.
Now, the people that know me know that I'm definitely a proponent.
Yeah.
It's changed my life. In actually 2014, again speaking of finishing parole, the first ceremony, by chance, without knowing really what I was getting myself into, on the last day of parole, I walk into this ceremony, not knowing anything, not knowing anyone. And that begins my journey with DMT, ayahuasca. Now, I can talk about this forever. You probably can too.
100%.
So I'm just going to give the people out there a little bit of a preamble about what ayahuasca is. So then we can kind of get into it with your own journey. But so ayahuasca comes from the Amazon basin in Latin America and South America. Amazon basin borders on a whole bunch of countries from the north, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and then it gets down into the south, into Paraguay, Argentina, a little bit Uruguay, and again the south of Brazil. Those indigenous peoples from the Amazon basin, out of the 160,000 plants that are available, that have coexisted in the Amazon basin for a very long time, they had a vision one day whilst drinking mapacho, which is tobacco, but they would boil it and drink it, which gives hallucinogenous effects. They got a vision, and this is as the story is told from generation to generation over the thousands of years. They got a vision and a message to go and get that specific plant and put it together with that plant, because together those two plants create enough DMT, dimethyltryptamine, and one of them actually blocks an enzyme we have in the stomach, which stops the body normally
Creating concern.
from digesting the DMT. That first plant blocks that, and it allows the second plant to then come into the body through the digestive system and create the, let's say, the high, which isn't a high, but it's putting you on another level of consciousness. DMT is being called by scientists now the spirit molecule. It's been a hot topic of debate with psychologists and many different people, professionals from different fields, and it's been referred to again as a spirit molecule. In shamanism now, shamans are the people that distribute it, that administer it, for lack of a better word, even though it sounds it sounds quite pharmaceutical. They speak of it as the rope to the dead, or the rope to the soul.
Other side.
Yep. Or the grandma, or the purge. And what it is essentially, it's one of those master plant psychedelic experiences which all of our ancestral tribes around the world had. They all had the different plants, but they all had psychedelics. They all had their master plants until sometime when man decided that they were evil and we should not pursue them anymore. But obviously people still do, let's say at an underground level, for lack of a better word. So I began this experience with ayahuasca. I was very fortunate to find people that were doing it here in Australia. I also had the chance to do it with people with the master shaman, the shaman that taught the shamans in Australia, to the Amazon jungle, and probably we can talk about that another day. But so along the way, I'm telling all my friends and all my family, people that care to listen, I'm telling them about this experience with ayahuasca and how it changed my life, and in so many ways. It's not only a spiritual thing, it's also very much about the body. It's about practical things in your life as well, and how naturally, organically, let's say, with the help of ayahuasca, all these negatives in my life, all these dark recesses in my life were shown a lot of light on. A lot of people that weren't meant to be there sort of disappeared almost on their own, sometimes not so much on their own. I had to act, I had to stand up, I had to do what I had to do. But a lot of these things sort of dissolved, and it allowed me to become a much better person. And it's also a large part of my success I very much attribute to the consumption and the lifestyle that comes from consuming ayahuasca. And that accompanies ayahuasca, because it's not only about that one night when you're actually there in that super high, ultra dimensional, dream experience, psychedelic lights and everything. It's what you hear, because it's accompanied by music and shaking and all these things, and you're in a ceremony. It's pitch black, so you go within, and it's a beautiful journey. The experience, it can be tough. Very tough. You can vomit. I've never vomited. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm missing out. But
I've done enough for you.
Yes, you have. I've witnessed it.
Yeah.
I've heard it. Lucky I didn't catch any of it. But but then actually a lot of it is what comes outside of that actual ceremonial moment. And if anything, I would dare say, what's more important is what you put into practice and what happens accompanying that ceremony. It's not like, your life changes in that very moment, even though it can. It leads to the changes in your life. Yeah. And I would go as far as to say that the world will be a much better place if DMT, especially through ayahuasca, with all the other master plants included in shamanism, if it was much more normalized and accepted and practiced. And if the leaders of the world got together and all drank ayahuasca, as I said before the show, all of the world's problems will be over very quickly.
I have to agree with you there.
So coming back now to you, I remember speaking to you about it. Looking back, it was obviously a very dark time. I knew that things weren't well.
Yeah.
I remember seeing these energies around you, these characters around you, And you know, and I remember having some conversations about, hey man, what about this or what about that? I mean, it's not like, you know, someone's going to come in and say, bro, don't do this or don't do that. You know? I'm talking to the GM of Lark Hoskins as well, right? But I remember clearly one night we were at Coogee Pavilion next door to my house in Coogee at the time, and we ducked out. We had a few drinks too. We ducked out and we came upstairs. Yeah,
we had some company there.
Yeah, we had some company.
We let him be.
Yeah, we let him be.
Let him be.
Yeah,
and you and I went to your place, and and you put on a video.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like, what are we gonna do? I go, we'll just put this on. I say, remember that thing I told you about?
Yeah.
And the few times that I've spoken to you about it, you know, I don't remember you being dismissive. Because we're cool and we listen.
You had my attention.
Yeah, I had your attention, but you know, in an ocean, I'm guessing of thoughts and things. It was like, oh yeah, cool, and then like all of us, right? But then we'll put this documentary on. From memory, it was The Spirit Molecule.
It was, yeah.
It was, right? And we didn't watch all of it, far from it, because it was quite long. But we watched a little bit of it, and that was enough to kind of really
that rattled me.
Yeah, pay attention. Right. So then this is when your journey with ayahuasca and DMT and the master plans begin.
Yeah.
And I've witnessed firsthand your transformation. It's been an amazing journey to watch. If anything, it's almost like as wanky as it sounds, you're like the postcard, the postcard for ayahuasca and the postcard for DMT. And it's been a beautiful transformation. It's almost like the caterpillar to the butterfly, and even the people at ceremony have noticed and commented over the years how much you've changed and what you've achieved, and what you've not become, because I don't think it's you're something that you weren't. I actually think, as the shaman says many times, God bless him, the brother, we need to unbecome who we are not. So we're born into our true nature. We're born innocent. We're born who we really are. We're born with that essence, that spirit, and it is lost through, you know, the corruption of life, the indoctrination of life, and all these negative influences that we pick up. As I said, I can talk about this forever, but
we've just opened up the doors to eternal.
And trust me, that's probably 10%. But so now to your story, and I'll let you tell it, brother, because I know this is a big part of who you are now. Affectionately called the Space Cowboy, since because you've taken to it.
Like everything, Armando.
Yeah,
you know?
Good passion. So tell us, please, man. Like almost like, you know, if you could pick up where I left off. So here we are.
So I've watched that video. It's rattled me. You know, I've thirsted for something that's going to give me that massive shift. Open the door to a new way of being, new way of living.
Rebirth.
Just a rebirth, man.
It
was enough. Enough that the path of self-destruction was just...
Salud ayahuasca.
Gracias.
Gracias, Pachamama. Salud, mi hermano.
Calcipac.
Calcipac. Yeah, man, sorry.
So first ceremony was October 17, and it was an instant, just an instant awakening. You know, to hear people that have gone and haven't experienced anything, or you know, like I can't vouch for that, because for me it was the first ceremony, and let's go. And you know, life didn't completely change immediately. There was so much work to do.
Of course.
You know, it was just a peeling of layers and layers and layers.
Indeed.
And I'm now two and a bit years later.
Sure.
I'm actually coming up to 3 years in October.
Yes.
And I'll be sitting my 4th Vegetalista Dieta, which is 9 days in solitude. 4 nights on ayahuasca ceremonies. 4 days with the master plants. And that's coming up in October for me. So it's been a massive journey. And there's no turning back. This is life. For me, it's who I am. And as you said before, the world leaders. I wish I could put it in a bottle.
Yep.
And just, microdose
Yeah.
everybody I know. Now I will tell everybody that would listen.
Yeah.
And I will take everybody that's open to it. And as you took me, I've had the privilege and honor
Yes.
to take so many.
Yes, you have.
But it's been one hell of a ride.
Yes.
And it's changed my life.
Yeah.
In
In so many ways, right?
so many ways.
Yeah.
So many ways.
Yeah.
Discovery.
Yeah.
The awakening to certain things. The letting go of
Yes.
so many things.
Yes, brother.
We talk about traumas. We talk about why do we become something we are not. And then how do we unbecome what we are not? What takes us there?
Yeah.
And you'll be amazed at the stories
Yeah.
that we hold on to as humans, the traumas that have affected us that we'd never believe have, but they have.
Of course.
I was doing NET for a very, very long time.
What is NET?
So NET is neuro-emotional technique, and it's again the peeling of layers. It's the emotions tied up to stories and clearing those energies by the way of kinesiology.
Sure.
Ayahuasca is the NET process on steroids.
Yes. Agreed. Yep. It's a turbo.
An absolute turbo. One of the best and sayings and statements that resonates home for me is ayahuasca is 10 years of psychotherapy in one night.
Yes, my brother. I've said that many times. Not so much psychotherapy, but because I think that it's not the only avenue there. There's also other psychedelics. There's other practices. There's meditation. There's yoga. There's kundalini. There's all these other arts and crafts and
Agreed.
and techniques. But I definitely think that psychedelics. I haven't tried any other besides DMT and ayahuasca.
Yeah.
But definitely it's a absolute, warp factor 4 type, warp tunnel thing. Yeah, where it's sped up incredibly. And I just wanted to touch on something because you mentioned the master plants.
Yeah.
It isn't the only plant that the shamans of the Amazon basin practice with and treat with and create consciousness shifts and awareness with and heal with, let's face it, because they are the doctors, ancestral doctors of that region. And actually a lot of the drugs, pharmaceutical drugs that we consume nowadays come from shamanism from the Amazon basin, where modern man goes in and finds out about these things, and we synthesize it or we distill it, and then we create all these drugs. But the master plants work with ayahuasca. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people compare DMT, the synthesized dimethyltryptamine, which you got to smoke because it can't enter the body orally because it doesn't have the enzyme blocker, which ayahuasca has. But the difference with ayahuasca is not only is it ceremonial, so it's accompanied by shamanism and music and all these things, which protects you, guides you, creates a much higher state of consciousness than it does simply by taking the DMT, but it's also accompanied by the plants, as I was saying, and those plants work as well. And when you do dieta, which you referred to, which is the isolation and the week or 9 days, can be 3 weeks, can be many months.
That's right.
Right. They also work. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that. So beyond ayahuasca, what other experiences you've had?
So my first dieta was. My first dieta was in March of 2019. Yeah. And the master plant that I dieted on was a plant called Sanango, which is the translated meaning cold healing plant. Yeah. Chirik as in cold. Yep. And the master healer cleans you from your bones. Out. So gives you the beautiful shaking feeling, the cold lips. By far the strongest master plan I experienced in any ayahuasca ceremony at the beginning. Yeah. So definitely had my biggest calling to Chirik. Yeah. Chirik is yesterday, today, tomorrow plan. It's about clearing yesterday's stories.
Yes.
To make for a better today, to be present.
Sure.
To open the doors for an even better tomorrow. So I sat with that plant for 9 days.
Yep.
They reckon that 90% of people that do Chirik come back and change jobs or change career paths.
Wow. So it's a big cleanser.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm a testament to that.
Yes,
so
you are. Of course you are.
I went in March
Yep.
of 19.
Yes.
And the 18-year career in Honda ended on April the 11th. So I got out of ceremony on the 27th of March.
Yeah.
And if there was one thing I was certain was I wasn't happy in my current space here. And my career path was not where I was currently tracking. So 9 days. So we spend, you arrive first day, first night, you have an ayahuasca ceremony.
Yep.
And I think your biggest intention that you have on the first night is to clear space to allow for your master plant, which you diet on the following day.
Yeah, because dieta means diet in Spanish, correct?
Make room for your master plant.
Exactly.
So you drink your master plant, and you sit in solitude pretty much all day. There's no talking other than the shaman.
Yeah.
You have 24-hour fasts.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Eating like
very light food.
You'll have lunch and then have lunch the next day.
Yeah, sure.
Organic vegetables, a little bit of boiled rice.
Yep.
Absolutely.
No spices, no salt, nothing. That's
nothing.
right. Yeah.
And you'll so you drink this master plant day 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Sure.
So 4 days in a row. On night 3, you have your second ceremony. So now you've got this master plant within you.
Sure.
Then you're having an ayahuasca ceremony with this master plant.
Sure.
And it's beautiful.
Sure.
Very, very different journey to your normal journeys.
Of course.
And just, if I can describe my dieta, it was exactly what the master plant characteristics were. So I spent my first half of the dieta getting rid of all those yesterday stories.
Sure.
I spent the second half of my dieta allowing myself to be more present.
Sure.
And then I spent my integration illuminating the path forward.
Wow.
And the integration on Chirik was strong.
Sure.
Having left my work, and then immediately the relationship severed. So, people that...
Tough times, but necessary.
Whew,
yeah.
Very tough times. By far, one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. Lifelong relationships, thinking, these are my brothers, disappearing. And then, excuse me. But then having trust in you.
Trust the journey.
Trust the journey.
Yeah.
Surrendering, letting go. And I found comfort in that. And it was amazing to stand back and just witness the unfolding.
Yeah.
That was the most beautiful part. So you've gone, you've done this big work, you've come back, you want to share your experiences with those that you believe you love. And
yes.
And you just see them, like there's those that didn't want a bar of what you had.
Sure.
So I cut some really close relationships.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Sure.
Intentionally.
Sure.
Unintentionally.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it opened up space for me.
Yes, my brother.
For me to be present. For me to be living in my true self.
Yes.
And it gave me that level of freedom.
Yeah.
And a freedom that I didn't know what it felt like to be free. And what ayahuasca gives you is that freedom of the mind.
Yes.
It clears those stories.
Yeah.
Opens up your third eye and allows you to see life for what it is.
And your intuition.
And then you start to follow your intuition and things start to flow better.
Yes.
The plants know how to, especially your master plants, they know how to remind you when you're out of integrity. For example, Chirik is an integrity plant. Try living life out of integrity and having a plant like Chirik within you. He's going to let you know.
Yeah.
He's a loud, jealous plant. So, these plants have their own characteristics and behaviors.
Yeah. I mean, without sounding like madmen, plants just like animals and humans, they have a soul and they have a spirit and they have a lineage.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these plants that we coexist with in this world are much older than we are. We're actually quite young as a species. And in the same way that broccoli is good for you because it has X, Y, Z nutritional value to it, there's these other plants that bring other benefits or otherwise, but they bring other benefits. And I think it's been proven scientifically as well that plants have a consciousness in the same way that animals and the animal world does. It's just a different level of consciousness. So just to point that out, because for a lot of people, speaking in this manner would be like,
what's he going on about?
What's he talking about?
But like I said, this is the path, yeah?
This is the path, correct.
And we're walking it, and we're proud of it.
No doubt about it.
And
it's the new world, man, no doubt about it.
It's the new world.
Yeah. It's the new world. It's the new world, it's the new man. And I think it's been widely recognized within scientific levels as well. I know psilocybin, which is more in the mushroom realm, is being studied very closely with people with psychological issues, and they're having great results with it.
Amazing results.
Yeah, amazing results. Yeah, and again, I would, if anything, what I really appreciate from you and why I love you and your journey is not only because you're doing it and you're living it, but you're so aware of it, Nick. You're very aware of, what this plant is doing. Yeah. And what day and what date and the different stages and how they interact with you. I've known a lot of people that have drunk, even with me or without me, or that we see at ceremonies when we cross paths or whatever. But no person has, that I know of, the awareness, maybe besides the shamans, because they, we're talking another level, but the awareness that you have. So that's why I think you're a very important spokesperson and role model and example for it and what it can do in our lives, not only because of the true and practical results that you've achieved through it, but also your ability to express the awareness and the ability to express, because obviously you can talk underwater. Which is awesome. I love it, man. You know us wogs, bro. We're not gonna sit there quietly, bro. What are you talking about? You want me to shut up? Give me food.
And I haven't touched my phone, nor do I know the time.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
Credit to your space.
Nah, bro, please, a big round of applause. Hey!
But let me just check if I was
No. I've never had one of those. What else you got there, Paulie? There you go. Good man. No, but so but obviously, your beautiful wife Helen, she's also joined you. A lot of your core people have joined you as well, and you were saying before you've taken lots of people, which I also think is amazing, and it's important to bring people to the light. But there's one thing I wanted to touch on, because I think it's very important, because you have a very strong Christian faith and upbringing, and obviously a lot of people from that religion, or from any religion, of course, primarily the Abrahamic faiths, they're very anti anything, drug, let's say. And obviously the recreational stuff is quite easy to accept as a bad thing, but this is a bit different. But you had an experience with that, so please tell, because I know we've got a lot of Christian people in the world, 100%. A lot of religious people in the world, a lot of people of faith. How was that experience for you? Because I know it was a big question going into your first ceremony when we went that day together.
100%. So obviously, my first when asking around and ayahuasca and what is it, and what's the spiritual father going to say, what are the priests going to say, and
how are you going to be judged?
The last thing you want to do is do anything that can compromise your faith. And that was for me the biggest thing walking in. I said, well, you know what? Leading in, being told that, look, they're old pagan traditions, they're deemed as demonic. All of that story,
Yeah, that's exactly what it's been for thousands of years, centuries.
And then you think, what's having a line of coke, you idiot?
That's right.
Is that not a tradition that's deemed as demonic? That's... Do you know what I mean? So you have this story of, I can't do ayahuasca because it's against my religion, But yeah, you were having an 8-ball the other night, and
Yeah.
and like, come on, at what point do we stop being our own hypocrisy?
That's right.
So for me, it was, well, you know what? I'm going to check it out, yeah?
Yeah.
Christ is within me. My faith is strong. If it is the wrong path, mate, let Christ
Show me.
not show me or not show me.
Yeah, I get you.
And for me,
Yeah.
my first vision, and it was on the arm of our dear brother Troy Enders.
Yes,
who
Troy.
was,
Shout out to Troy, man.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Troy.
Gun immigration lawyer. If you need one, hit me up. Yeah, my man Troy. Tell me.
So mate, he I think I drank pretty early in the circle, and he went last. And his arm had a beautiful tattoo, and mate, that tattoo became for me the vision of Christ. And that was my first ever vision, or what did you see?
Yeah.
What came up?
Wow.
And it was strong, strong. And then on that same journey, that same evening, having seen the faces of the departed, and feeling that love, as angels, and I can go on and on of my religious experiences within there, and not one has deterred me from my belief system, and to the contrary, has made it stronger, to the point where it's shown me how to pray properly. I remember during the dieta of Chirik, and I think it was the third night, and walking out and then going on my knees and putting my face on the ground, and this is how you pray. Show me your knees. You've been praying and asking for my help. Show me your knees. Show me how bruised your knees are, so I can tell you how much you have prayed. Little things. Repentance. What is repentance? Was I really repenting the sins?
Sure.
Or did I just know they were bad? Awakening that to me. The importance of the values to my kids, and like being grateful for the little things, and showing gratitude every time I have a meal, every time I wake up, every time I go to sleep. Mate, hand in hand. Hand in hand.
So very early then, or almost immediately, the message was there's no conflict.
Absolutely.
Open yourself up to the ride. There's
Don't get me
no
wrong.
clash.
I've had some journeys where you go into that old story again, and and most recent, the Madre Ayahuasca, the mother of super intelligence, of an intelligence that we will never comprehend or understand.
Sure.
Profound. Always will take me to the path of showing me what the reality is. So any questions, they're my own doubts. Within my own self.
Of course.
And it's when you surrender and let go that the gifts come.
Of course.
And I'm just truly humbled and grateful, and big thanks to you, Armando, for taking me down that path. I encourage everyone. There's priests within our parish that could do good,
no doubt,
and better out of some of their own awakenings.
Sure.
It's been a beautiful ride.
It has,
and so much to go.
Of course. The beautiful thing about this is
it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
And I think there's no end game.
And I think we all have a lot to benefit from accepting that we don't know anything. As much as you know, or you think you know,
nothing.
You don't know anything. And I think that's great, because that means that you wake up every day willing to learn and to change, and to be flexible, and to adapt, and to accept. And those are all of those things are positive.
Opportunities, Amano. They're all opportunities.
All of those things are positives, because there is as a matter of fact, they say humans are where we are today in the world, as far as taking over or whatever, surviving or whatever it is, but because we adapt the best out of everybody in the animal kingdom. So absolutely nothing wrong with that. But so no challenge with the faith. After all, it is a plant. But you brought up something. You brought up something which is I almost have a chuckle quietly with the boys every now and then, because you were saying, oh, is this accepted by my faith, or even though I'm doing 8 balls and this and that, whatever. And it reminds me when I was away, I was with some Muslim boys, and by no way an insult Muslim people, because this is for all religious faiths, but loco, I can't eat pork, man. What are you talking about? I don't eat pork. I'm Muslim, or I'm Jewish, or whatever, right? Okay, cool. So you do drugs, you rob, you kill. Some cunts even rape. But you don't eat pork. How does that sit with your faith?
The hypocrisies, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, unfortunately. But that's again, that's that corruption of the soul. We're not born into that. No. That's something that's bred, and it comes from society, and unfortunately, fortunately, sorry, even at a scientific level, that's proven with ayahuasca, because going back now to the science and the spirit molecule, which I highly recommend if you want something a bit more sciencey, let's say, the spirit molecule, there's 1,000 documentaries on YouTube, and you can read up about it. Ayahuasca,
Metamorphosis is a good one.
Ayahuasca, ayahuasca. But they refer to ayahuasca being like rebooting a computer. So the brain has all these neuro pathways which are developed over the years because of different experiences and emotional experiences and mental things, good and bad. And what happens is these neuro pathways are cemented almost into place, and you carry that with you everywhere, and that's what you become. They stop you from doing things. They make you do certain things, act a certain way, react a certain way, whatever. And then when you do DMT, when you do ayahuasca, there's a reset. Now, obviously, all of those neuro pathways, all of those experiences, which are much more deeply ingrained, they're not going to disappear or dissolve in one ceremony. Maybe they will, but over time, that is what happens. And again, you go back to source. You go back to who you perhaps were born to be, or closer to, at least. That's right. But there's even stories, and I've heard stories firsthand of people who have spoken to themselves as a kid, and the kid has reminded them of things or has cleared things. There's stories of people making peace with their dead grandparents or family members or fathers or mothers. I heard stories of people making peace with their rapists, because one thing that people, for those that don't know, it's ceremonial. We sit somewhere between 20 and 30 people overnight, and then the following day we'll do a sharing, and each person has a chance to share their experiences from the previous night. You can choose not to, but everybody wants to. It's a beautiful place 100%. That you're in.
It's part of the process.
Higher level of consciousness. And some people do a 30-second, 1-minute thing. Some people really elaborate, and some people say some crazy stuff, because you do see some crazy stuff. But yeah, those are some of the highlights that I've seen, where people actually traveling through the cosmos and all these sort of things. I actually remember one lady in particular that stayed with me. She mentioned about she was out in the cosmos traveling around through the planets and the stars, and then she saw herself, went towards herself, her mouth opens, and now she's inside her body, and she's traveling all inside her body, throughout her body, through her arms, through her neck, her head, everywhere. She's cruising around, and she's having this amazing time traveling around her body, as you would. And she came to her breast, her left breast, and during the sharing she pointed at the place where it was, and she saw something that wasn't right. It was like a dark thing, energy thing, whatever. And then then I'm not sure how the rest of the night went, but that's what she shared. And she said she was concerned, she was going to get checked out. A few ceremonies later, we ran into her. She had breast cancer, and that's how she became aware of it. So it's more than, I don't know how to put it. It's so much. It's so much. And I've even had, in my personal experience, telepathic moments of telepathy, particularly with a shaman. Maybe it's our own minds playing tricks on us, or I don't know what it is, but I've had messages, communication with particularly with the shaman, which was mind blowing. It's like, did I just hear that?
Yeah.
Or the other one is another one that happens to me a lot is I'm thinking about my mother, or I'm thinking about a family member or something, and the song that begins is about family and mother and love.
Always.
Yeah, that happens so much. Yeah, and I absolutely love that.
Letting go of your attachments.
Yeah, man.
Immediately after a massive purge.
Ah, yeah.
There's no,
yeah. I can't relate to. I wish. Yeah, but the yawns, I love the yawns,
Yeah,
and
the yawns,
the big tears
the
that
tears.
accompany that. Yeah. And I have actually the very first time that I went, I had not diarrhea, because that's like a painful kind of discomfort, but this was I would describe probably 5 minutes of shit in my pants. Yeah, 5 minutes, to the point where I got worried, because it was, you fart, what you do.
Don't trust a fart in ceremony.
Oh, really?
That's one tip. That's one tip we can give to the newbies.
Come on, Paulie. Wow.
Paulie, don't trust a fart in ceremony.
Wow.
That's one tip I'm gonna share. Yeah.
Man, damn.
I didn't know if you saw it, but like that, because we went to the same one my first time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I purged after the ceremony.
Man, do you remember that? Man, we were
At the end of the night,
finished. We were finished.
That's beautiful.
Everyone's finished. Yeah, he didn't really like it. I think he was a bit embarrassed, as he probably would be, but I welcome him, my
Lucky
brother.
someone was walking with a bucket.
Yeah, because everyone's got their bucket, so you don't spew all over the floor. But no. So I kind of lost where we were at. But no, yeah. So my first time, I literally ran for like 5 minutes, and it was
Beautiful.
like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
And I remember another friend of mine who had religious, because the people that he was doing it with, they essentially not fast entirely, but they do a really super light diet for a week, not for 3 days. And he was vomiting his ass off, and he's like, where is all this coming from? And it's pitch black, so you can't see, but when the lights came on, it was black, like tar, thick black, and who knows what that was. And obviously the people that know will tell you that could be physical, spiritual, emotional,
Whatever.
mental, could be from your ancestors, something that you're carrying down through your DNA.
Parkinson's, cancers,
Indeed.
diseases,
Indeed.
whatever, stories.
Yeah. Because it is also very much about the body. And there's also stories of people with injuries being healed, which I think is and I've actually had those experiences.
Same.
One of the dear brothers, Freddie, he had a similar experience as well. So amazing, man. So, I mean, we can definitely talk all night about DMT and ayahuasca, I'm sure. But as you can see, we're both proponents.
Yeah.
And I think the world, again, would be a much better place if humanity
200%.
turned that way. And hopefully
I will share a question that was asked of me, and this will really represent my stance on what we call the medicine. Yeah.
Sure.
I was asked, would you let your kids do it? Mate, the answer was simple. I can't wait. I can't wait to be able to expose them to that world at an early age.
Yes, my friend. Yep.
Having started at the age 37, my only regret is I didn't start earlier.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you something again from the Amazon, told to me by Dmt himself, the master shaman. Actually, it was his wife, Dancy, who told me about it. I was fortunate to spend 9 days, 8 nights with the Jebero tribes people in deep in the Amazon jungle of Peru, off Iquitos, 7 hours by boat, inland from the port of Iquitos, and they shared with me that not all babies, but some of the babies that are chosen, obviously it's got to do with the parents, and I'm not sure exactly how that is decided, but some of the babies, the mother wets her nipple with ayahuasca, and then gives the milk to the baby, and so that tells you something. But also the Dmt himself, his drinking of ayahuasca began when he was 9 years old, and he said to me that it would have started earlier, but his parents didn't really want him to. It was his uncle that kind of steered him that way. But so 9 years old, so for us, that might not be feasible or
Yes.
possible or whatever, but you know, there's historical proof that, you know, it's not a bad thing. As a matter of fact, our shamans, and the great news is he will be on the show.
Well, awesome.
He's accepted
Look
the
forward
you know,
to that one.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
so do I. Over 800 ceremonies, sometimes several days, a couple of days off, and then at it again and again and again and again. And you will know this as I do, incredibly sharp.
Absolutely.
How do they remember so many people's names
And stories.
and stories?
And
Amazing.
stories. And a massive credit to our curandera.
Yeah,
You know, she'll sit on a Saturday
yeah,
and navigate 15 to 20 people
yeah.
with their baggage and their stories
Indeed.
and their path, and
Yes,
and it's just like clockwork.
yeah,
And I've never heard her get it wrong, because
No.
she's never got it wrong for me.
no.
Um,
And under the effects, because
Absolutely.
the journey's taken together.
Mhm.
It's not,
No.
you know, you're not being
Yeah.
babysat by someone who's not
No, no, no.
under the influence.
No.
You know, they're there as well.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, obviously they're on another level of experience, and they can, you know, but they're there as well.
Yeah.
And wow, there's been some truly amazing nights. But Nick, jumping topics a little bit, perhaps the future. You know,
Small steps, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Embracing the shifts.
Yeah.
Enjoying the change.
yeah,
Slowing it down.
yes, my brother. Be present.
Building the momentum.
Yeah,
But
no
but
doubt.
at my pace, yeah.
Yeah, great, man.
Um,
You know, it's your own company.
and
so,
yeah, just accepting whatever gifts come our way,
yeah,
and being grateful for all the goodness,
yeah,
and the you know,
yeah,
and just living in truth, and
Yes, my brother.
continuing the work.
yes,
Continuing the work, setting that example, being that true leader for your familia,
yes, my brother. Yes,
for your community,
Yep.
for those that matter.
mm.
Mate, just doing it together, yeah,
Yeah,
huh?
good man.
Together.
Can I make a suggestion from the heart, mi amigo? Get on the land, man. Get on the land. You don't have to go too far.
No.
You can see around here already,
Yeah.
like what the vibe is. And I
That's-
welcome everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually happening around the world. This reconnection with the land, and people are recognizing. Unfortunately, it's through a struggle, but that's how we humans learn these things.
That's
but
right.
this over reliance on, you know, all of our systems that we've created in society. So, you know, the food chain, heavily polluted and toxic and everything else. And also with a sneeze, we're having logistical problems with getting food and toilet
Yep.
paper and stuff like that to people. Beyond all of that, let's call it the safety, and let's call it the independent reason, pro-independence reason. Then of course there's the connection to the food that you eat, connection to the land. It slows us right down a little bit, because I think right now we're becoming a bit too sort of over involved with technology and all of those things. So I would like to formally invite you to join the land.
That's
I saw from a very small conversation I had with your wife the other day that I think she was in tune with it. And I can already see her planting her little garden patch, maybe not so little.
Yeah.
And it's probably returned to you know, our ancestral true cultures as humans, you know, more as a agricultural, more in tune with the land, man. I think those days were better for humanity and for
100%.
mankind. Yeah.
100%. I'm hearing you loud and clear, man.
Yeah, man. I hope so, my brother. And very excited about the future. And look, I like to return to the point that I was making, because I think it's very important with you know, with the show and with our lives. And I think in this world there's a lack of role models, particularly male role models. There's a lack of fathers. You've got nothing to do with that, because you know you're doing your duty as a man and as a father and as a husband. But I think definitely There is a lack of mentors. There's a lack of father figures. There's a lack of fathers full stop, because not majority, but there's a large number of, divorces and things. And generally the mum's the one that, carries the reins, and all these boys don't ever become men and don't do their duty as, to humanity, to themselves and to their family as father figures. So I think what I like to welcome some of the more inspirational guests to do is to partake with some wisdom, some knowledge, perhaps from the business side, because you've achieved, fallen down, achieved again, and fallen down and achieved again a couple of times, which I think is a true test of true strength. So if you could say to someone, okay, cool, man, I would like to tell you guys X, Y, Z, if you guys wanted to pick up and do your own thing, whether it be in the car industry as a salesman, or whether it be some input, as to what is success and how that is achieved, what would you say? I'm just going to drop that hot potato on you, man. Do your best.
No, I used to, and nothing's changed. I used to have an old Rocky saying on my wall, in the office, and and the same saying in the entrance of the showroom. Yes. And mate, the positive energy that statement brings, and it goes like this: the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you on your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. Wow. You, me, or nobody's gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you get hit or how hard you hit. It's about how you get up and keep moving forward. Indeed. And I'm going to quote Denzel Washington's beautiful little YouTube motivational video, which is...
ooh, there you are. Ooh, Nick.
Fail forward.
Fail forward.
Fail fast, fail forward. And follow your dreams. Don't let anybody tell you you ain't good enough. Yeah, sure. Just push, man. Don't give up. Go in that one more round. Yeah. Just don't give up. No doubt. Just keep going. No doubt. When you're driving through hill, keep going. Yeah. Because you know what? The sun will shine. Yeah. And that door will open. That opportunity will come, and you got to be present for it. Just keep going. And open yourself up to possibilities. Yeah, man. Yeah. Open mind, open heart. Yeah. Drop into your heart. Yes, my brother. Drop into your heart. That's a big thing that we don't do. Yes. We're so disconnected from our hearts these days. Indeed. Find what gets you back there. Yeah. We've already discussed, what is a quick way to get there, and we'll immediately connect you there. But whatever it takes, yeah, sure. Hanging around loved ones, going to church, playing the sport, being passionate, whatever it is, drop into your heart. Yes. Use that before you use that. Yeah, man. That for me is everything. No doubt about it. Amen. Yeah. Full power to you. Gracias, hermano. Thank you, man, for having us on here. Now, hold on, man. A couple of gifts. No. Hold on, man. I'm not going to let you run off that easily, brother. Hold on. Tell me. This motherfucker wants to run off, man. He's the first one that wants to run off. Paul, what do we think?
I have a question.
Oh, Paulie P, my man.
Actually, no.
Come on, man.
Moussaka.
What about it?
Your Greek family. Is it with potato or without potato?
It's with potato, and it's funny you mentioned moussaka, because we had that conversation on the way in, yeah? So my mum asked, what do you want me to cook for pre-Father's Day dinner tomorrow? And my wife said moussaka. Wow. And my mum turned around and said, but the other kids don't like moussaka. Well, here's a tip for all mother-in-laws out there. Cook what the daughter-in-law wants. If you want to have a good, positive, happy relationship. Yeah, there you go. It's the son that's got to cop the aftermath. That's right. Afterwards. No doubt about it. So to all the mother-in-laws out there, follow what the daughter-in-laws want. There you go. Yeah.
I just had to suck on my mind for some reason, and now I know.
There you go, man. Wow. And that's the power of the plants. Yeah. All right, living proof. It's that energy,
Wow.
Well, speaking of moussaka and all that, Greece, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll take you to my land, you take me to yours. Ooh. Deal?
Deal.
My
Done.
man.
Done.
Listen, one thing I wanted to touch on because it's and it's a question, yeah. It's by far. I'm not trying to push or anything, but you spoke to me when you were much heavier into the car industry, and obviously, that was a big part of who you were and your success, and that was like the platform. You spoke to me about speaking, motivational speakers. You spoke to me about becoming almost like more of a mentor, public figure type thing. Is that still on the cards somewhere in the future?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome.
Absolutely. I've many visions
bro.
of the path forward. And definitely, I believe it's my calling.
Sure.
And
Sure.
But like I said, small steps are matter.
Yeah. So you can see it's like the whole light at the end of the tunnel thing, without the tunnel being a negative thing, but you can kind of see that could be one of the train stations up ahead or something.
Right now,
I know the feeling.
It's about catching up and you know trying to build that.
Of course, the momentum.
Fortunate, sometimes we've got that financial stability which we all become a victim to. But. Yeah, small steps, but definitely, man. Definitely.
Awesome, my
brother. Who
knows?
Never say never, man.
Full power to you, brother. I think that will be an awesome thing for you. It may only be at a hobby level or at a small time. I don't know if there is a small time, but at a whatever that would be. But I think it would be very important for all of us around you. Because I think the more people you touch, the better this world will be. And I just hope and pray that all of the love and all of the generosity and all of the good intentions that you put out and that you touch those people with is returned to you in the same way that you pull it out. Because if that happens, brother, believe me, you're going to have an amazing life, my friend. Yeah, man, no doubt about it. So full power to you. If there's any way that I can support you with, you already know this, but I want to make it public, and I want to welcome others within our circle and within all your many circles to come together and help each other as much as we can. The whole thing about be the change in that you want to see in the world. But that's actually true. So
true.
So there's a lot of negativity. I think Sydney in particular, unfortunately, has some a dark energy around, and I think we just need to lighten the place up a little 100%. Bit and again be that change. So whatever we can do for you, with me, the brothers, the extended family, La Finca, you know where I'm at. Join me anytime.
Always an honor, hermano.
Thank you, my brother.
Well, living proof of manifestation and what it can bring, and living in truth, and just an honor to be a guest here.
Yeah, thank you, man.
To be watching you in your element, and
gracias, mi hermano.
Full power to you.
Thank you, man.
Gracias for
thank you, my brother.
For being a true believer, supporter, and the Cheese Squad.
Yeah, man.
For my family and I.
Yes, my brother. Of course. God bless.
From the heart,
from the heart. Nico, thank you so much for having you and your beautiful wife here with us today. Has been an awesome pleasure. And before you go, you came in with it looked like it was you were going to set up a market store in Jurul. I thought you were going to set up a little roadside store next to all the other ones we have up here in Jurul.
Just some training gear, man.
Oh, really?
For you and the boys.
Shall we have a look before we go? Or?
I'll pull one out. Josh has come a long way. Again. I loved it when Josh first said it was always my dream to look at a clothing label that had my name on it.
Oh, well, there you go.
Living it,
my man. Another big manifestation. Thank you, man. God bless you, my brother.
Couple of sponsors on there. We got George Cambosis. He's ferocious. A little ferocious symbol.
That's his ferocious Cambosis, right? Great name, Jocelyn Boxing.
That's more an acknowledgement on there.
Yep.
Being part of the journey, Jocelyn Boxing.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Gary St. Clair. Shout out to Gary,
Yeah.
So Gary's a 2-time former world champ.
Oh wow.
And living the humble life, Little gym in Gaimea.
Okay.
Training the normal average Joe.
Yeah.
And his superhero fight nights is what gave a guy like me an opportunity to get in the ring, man. So
awesome.
I believe that Gary's one of those underlooked.
Sure.
Yeah,
Undervalued.
like
perhaps.
undervalued. Undervalued.
Yeah. We're very good at that in Australia.
Yeah,
for some
very
reason,
good
man.
at that.
In
You're
Sydney,
talking about a 2-time former world champ that obviously didn't get the financial rewards that other world champs get. And he's having a crack. He's got his own little gym.
Oh, good on him.
Not living the high life by any stretch of the imagination, but making opportunities and dreams come true for so many.
Well, man, we'll throw him a plug, man. Gary St. Clair, he said his gym was in Gymea. If anyone wants to do boxing or some fitness around that region, I haven't been there myself, but if Nick says it must be good.
100%.
So we'll just show that one off. We'll go to 3, please, Paulie, so we can show off.
And last but not least, on the bottom there, Crash Claim Accident Management.
Man. Yeah, of course.
Meeting new friends by accident every single day.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. You can go on the front. So these will be going out to, these will be worn down in Next Level Fitness, our gym here in Drill, man. Shout out to Wafa and Safa, man. Ooh. So they'll be worn proudly. Thank you so much. And also there's some there for my woman too. I'm sure she'll appreciate too, the lovely tau.
And the brothers and
Man, awesome, my brother. Thank you. Always generous, always giving, man, looking after us again, man. Thank you so much for being on the show with us, Nick. It's been an awesome night. I knew it was going to be. And I knew that as soon as I had this podcast up and running, I had to get you on here, man. And I was very right. And I love it. I love it when I set out to do something and I achieve it. Muchísimas gracias, man. Thank you so much. Thank you to your family. God bless to everybody. Thank you, Paulie B, man. And a big shout out going out to our foundation sponsors, of course, the guys at Crash Claim and Q Corp Construction. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Gracias. Efaristo, Nico!
Hey.